Chapter 391. Xiaofan planned before making his move. He didn't fight head-on with the ancient giant. Instead, he summoned a demon city and set up a total of 50 illusory maze formations to trap the ancient giant. Then, he began to slaughter thousands of ordinary demons. The first to be killed was a senior member of the group of old antiques. Garen's teacher had a grudge against Xiaofan. If he did not kill him now, then when? Roar Xiaofan. Little bastard. You little bastard. How dare you kill people right under my nose? Bastard. At this moment, the ancient giant was furious. He howled at the top of his lungs. His face was purple and his entire body was shaking. He deeply felt that his dignity had been trampled on by Xiaofan. Yes, at the beginning, when he was facing Xiaofan, he was calm and collected, confident that he could control the situation and not allow Xiaofan to kill another person. But now, Xiaofan had killed people right under his nose like he was killing chickens or dogs. This was a slap in the face. Roar. You want to trap me with such a small trick? Break. This ancient titan was brewing up a peerless attack. His body shook, and true energy surged out like a river. All of this true energy transformed into jade talismans, which then formed into countless grand formations, and finally, a magical treasure. It was a thick machete about 100 feet long. It shone with a ghostly light that could cut ghosts and gods, melt space, and strip time. It was peerless. This was the ancient giant's magical treasure. Boom! The ancient giant took out his magical treasure and slashed at one of the maze formations that trapped him. The power of this attack could be said to be unparalleled in the world. The light of the blade danced violently. Space began to tear. Pucci, one slash. One of the illusory labyrinth formations was almost completely destroyed. It immediately collapsed. I finally destroyed a maze, but the ancient giant was both happy and helpless. He was happy because he destroyed a maze formation with one slash. He was helpless because every time he used the magical treasure to attack, it consumed a lot of true chi. The true chi used to attack with a magical treasure. It was several times more effective than simply using true chi divine art. Furthermore, this ancient giant didn't carry any treasured medicine that could quickly replenish his true chi. Damn it! The ancient giant roared to the sky. Meanwhile, the ordinary heroes trapped in the city all saw the scene in the sky and heard what Xiaofan said. Every 100 breaths, he would kill one person. Every chivalrous hero in Demon City saw the first veteran chivalrous hero to be killed by Xiaofan. The whole process of his death. It was too terrifying. There was no way to escape. Get out. I want to leave this place. I can't stay here and let myself be slaughtered. I want to go out. A cave-expanding realm fiend. His body soared up into the sky, wanting to fly out of the demon city. However, when he felt that he had already flown a few thousand miles, he realized that he was still standing at the same spot. It was as if he had only flown high and not far. No. Why was this happening? Why can't I fly out? No. Help. Ancient giant, hurry up and destroy this terrifying city. I don't want to die here. The 100 breaths are up. Kill the second person. Xiaofan's cold voice echoed between heaven and earth. It was as if he was the ruler. In one of the 3,286 images, a veteran demon fire antique suddenly stepped into a spell formation of demon fire. Boundless demon fire wrapped around him, and he began to writhe and shriek like a pig being slaughtered. Aaaaaaa. No. Don't kill me. Xiaofan. I was wrong. If you forgive me, I won't care about Garen's death anymore. Ancient giant. Agree to Xiaofan's conditions. You. Before long, the veteran chivalrous hero's body was burned to ashes. His ashes flew around the city like dandelions, successfully killed the second person. After 100 breaths, kill the third person, Xiaofan said calmly. Xiaofan. This is treason. The ancient giant's forehead was covered in cold sweat. He activated his magical treasure again and again, wasting his precious true qi to destroy the illusory labyrinth formation that trapped him. The ancient giant had used all his strength to destroy 4 illusory labyrinth formations in a row. Give me some more time. Give me some more time. Maybe I won't even need 24 hours to destroy these 50 illusory labyrinth formations. The ancient giant kept shouting in his heart. Pfft. The third veteran chivalrous hero was killed. Pfft. The fourth veteran chivalrous hero was killed. At this point, Garen's group of teachers, who wanted to abuse their authority and suppress Xiaofan, were all dead. Not a single one was left alive. Killing the 5th person. The ancient giant, you're testing my patience. But it doesn't matter. Everyone here will die one by one. Previously, in order to flatter the ancient giant, he had jumped out and shouted, "What an arrogant and shameless person." However, this ancient giant has great self-restraint. If it were me, I would have killed him with a single slap. These words had been directly erased from existence. After 100 breaths, the chivalrous hero who jumped out and shouted, "He wants to kill us in front of the ancient giant? Dream on. Fine. Come and kill us if you want to. I also want to see how he kills people under the eyes of an ancient giant." The swordsman was also quickly erased. Xiaofan was a man of his word. Every 100 breaths, he killed a chivalrous hero. His timing was very precise, not a moment too early or too late. The image in the sky displayed the scene of these swordsmen dying in great detail. Between heaven and earth, the despairing cries of the chivalrous heroes echoed. Fear and despair spread like a plague. Countless chivalrous heroes screamed and begged, "No. Xiaofan. Please don't kill anymore. Let us go. This has nothing to do with us. Xiaofan. We're all wrong. Please forgive us. Don't kill us anymore. Ancient giant. You're useless. Just now you were so valiant and said that no one dared to kill under your eyes. But now, you can't protect us at all. Ancient giant. Quickly agree to Xiaofan's conditions. You can't send us to our deaths just because of your own pride. Quickly agree to Xiaofan's conditions, otherwise, we'll all die." At this time, the ancient giant. A bunch of bastards. In the sky, the roars of the chivalrous heroes were transmitted from countless images. Most of the chivalrous heroes strongly requested the ancient giant to give in and agree to Xiaofan's conditions. There were even some chivalrous heroes who were extremely agitated and began to curse. Puff! Under the relentless attacks of the ancient giant, the 9th labyrinth was destroyed by him. Let's work harder. I'm sure I can break through all the mazes in a few hours. However, what? Suddenly, the 9 mazes that were destroyed by the ancient giant. They were actually repaired. Endless demon chi was injected into the damaged mazes. Very quickly, it was repaired. Repaired as good as new. Now, the ancient giants were still facing the same 50 labyrinths as before. How could this be? He had used all his strength to destroy the 9 mazes with great difficulty, but in the blink of an eye, these mazes had been repaired again. This indicated that everything that the ancient giant had done before was all in vain. Xiaofan. You bastard! The ancient giant roared in anger. But in his heart, a deep sense of helplessness rose. Kill the 23rd person. The killing continued. The 23rd chivalrous hero was killed. Of course, the people that Xiaofan killed were all the chivalrous heroes who had mocked and cursed at him. Ancient giant. Fuck you. Ancient giant. You're forcing us to die. You're the culprit. Help. Help. Someone save us. Ancient giant, go eat sh*t. Thousands of fiend warriors let out tragic and stirring curses. Their tones were filled with endless resentment and hatred. One should know that Xiaofan's request was not excessive at all. It was nothing more than entering the chivalrous pagoda to expand the acupoints. This was an extremely easy request to fulfill. As long as the ancient giant nodded, the trapped chivalrous heroes would not have to die. But the ancient giant refused to agree to Xiaofan's request. All the trapped chivalrous heroes regarded the ancient giant as the culprit who killed them. At this moment, a few more figures walked out of the chivalrous pagoda. A few rays of light appeared in the sky, and waves of celestial music came down. A few men and women walked down from the light. These men and women were wearing feather robes and star crowns. They looked extraordinary. Rings of light surrounded them. It was dreamy and full of celestial chi. Although these men and women did not seem to have the power to destroy the heavens and earth, there was a powerful force within their bodies. As long as this force was unleashed, it would definitely be able to change the weather and destroy everything in its path. Another few ancient authorities had shown themselves. At this moment, they were all looking at the misty chaotic demonic light in the square. Powerful. This demonic technique is indeed powerful. A man who looked like a scholar frowned slightly. Everyone already knows what happened. That Xiaofan is blessed by nature and can use the supreme demonic technique. Now he has trapped thousands of chivalrous heroes and is killing them one by one. What should we do now? We can't let him continue killing. Although these chivalrous heroes are very weak to people of our level, they are not easy to deal with in the secular world. One death means one less. We can't let Xiaofan kill as he pleases. If we continue killing like this, our chivalrous world will suffer a great loss. A middle-aged man with a square face said seriously. Why don't we join forces and break this demonic technique? A man with sword-like eyebrows said with a murderous look. If we join forces, we can steadily suppress Xiaofan. There's no problem. Don't act rashly. The man who looked like a scholar who spoke earlier stopped them. Indeed, we can break this demonic technique, but I'm afraid that if we force Xiaofan into a corner, he will kill thousands of chivalrous heroes with a single thought before we break the demonic technique. Don't force Xiaofan into a dead end. That's right, that little guy Xiaofan is unbelievably cruel. It's indeed possible for him to start a massacre with a single thought. He's already in a killing mood. Killing one is killing, killing two is killing, killing 1,000 is also killing. There's not much difference. Then we might as well agree to Xiaofan's request. Let him enter the chivalrous pagoda. To be honest, this request is not too much. A beautiful middle-aged woman with dreamy eyes and starlight surrounding her body said with a slight frown. Let him in to cultivate. Then, wait for the Tower Master to come out of seclusion and personally deal with this matter. We can't just let him in like this. The man who looked like a scholar shook his head. If we let him in like this, we'll lose all our face. Xiaofan will become an anomaly who broke the rules and swaggered around without being punished. This is very detrimental to the stability of our chivalrous world. Let me think about it. The scholar closed his eyes slightly, as if he was calculating something. The other ancient giants did not dare to say anything to disturb the scholar. After 10 breaths, the scholar opened his eyes, exhaled, and sent a string of voices into the demon city. Xiaofan, stop killing for now. Now, I'm going to talk to you personally. Do you dare to make a bet with me? Chapter 392. Xiaofan sat cross-legged and floated in the void of the demon city. There was a hint of ruthlessness at the corner of his mouth. The thousands of demon warriors in the demon city, as well as the ancient giant, were all under Xiaofan's perfect control. This ancient giant is really patient. Even if I kill one person every 100 breaths of time, he still won't agree to my request. Sigh, he really cares too much about his face. Heh, he even tried to break the illusory maze formation. He's asking for trouble. Xiao xiao xiao, beams of beautiful demonic light shot out from Xiaofan's left demon god palm and entered every formation of the demon city. It maintained the normal operation of the demon city. Fortunately, I've plundered a large number of heavenly desolate demon fruits during my trip to the demon city. I can use them to replenish my demonic strength at any time. I don't have to worry about running out of demonic strength. Xiaofan was secretly relieved. That's right. If it wasn't for Yen Lang's grand ceremony where he killed countless demon emperors and seized the large number of heavenly desolate demon fruits that they carried with them, Xiaofan wouldn't be able to display any of its power even if he had the powerful and bewitching left arm of the demon monarch. At least in a short period of time, Xiaofan would not have to worry about the heavenly desolate demon fruits. At this moment, Xiaofan, stop the killing for now. Now, I'm going to talk to you personally. Do you dare to make a bet with me? A calm and tranquil male voice pierced through the demon city and reached Xiaofan's ears. Xiaofan could hear it clearly. Oh? Who are you? Another ancient giant? What do you want to bet with me? Xiaofan used his spirit to transmit his voice back. Xiaofan, I know the whole thing like the back of my hand. The voice said unhurriedly. Yes, you're not the only one to blame for this. There were indeed people who wanted to use their power for personal gain and oppressed you indiscriminately. You couldn't take it anymore and fought back. However, your method was too extreme. You've killed too many demon warriors. Your decisiveness in killing has caused danger everywhere in the Devil Hero region, and people have been plunged into misery and suffering. Now, the Tower Master and the Elders are in seclusion and can't interfere with this matter. But once they come out, I'm afraid. Heh, you ancient giant, you want to punish me? Xiaofan said disdainfully. Xiaofan's demonic power was now at its peak. Once he was attacked by several ancient giants, Xiaofan's move was like an illusion, and he would most likely be able to flash out of the Wuxia region. He was completely invincible. As for worrying that the Pure Cloud sect would be implicated, Xiaofan had also considered this point. One had to know that although Wu Donghai was only an ancient giant, he already had 1 foot in the ranks of the ancient giants. With Wu Donghai's status in the Devil Hero world, the Devil Hero Pagoda would not vent their anger on the Cloud sect because of Xiaofan. Punish you? No, Xiaofan, I understand your heart. If I say I want to punish you, I'm afraid you'll continue to go crazy and kill all the thousands of heroes trapped in this demon city. Our Demon Hero Pagoda can't afford this price, the man said directly. Oh? Xiaofan was surprised. He hesitated for a few breaths before replying. Then you mean to agree to my condition, let me enter the Devil Hero Pagoda, give me a soul room, and let me break through to the expanded aperture realm? Ha ha ha. If we let you in just like that, we'll be disgraced. You can crush the rules and not be punished. This is a challenge to the dignity of the entire Devil Hero world. The man laughed. Then I don't understand, what are you guys trying to do? Xiaofan was speechless. A bet. The man's voice suddenly became serious. Xiaofan, I'll make a bet with you. Do you dare to bet? What bet? Xiaofan laughed coldly. Ancient giant, don't try to provoke me. In this world, there's nothing that I don't dare to bet on. Good. Your heart is as steady as a rock, and you dare to fight. You're different from others. It's no wonder you have such achievements at such a young age. The man's voice contained some praise as he said. Xiaofan, you want to enter the Devil Hero Pagoda, find the best soul room, and break through to the 51st true meridian. Right? Okay, I can let you in. But. Well, just now, I heard you talking nonsense. You said that you've accumulated a lot and have the confidence to become the person with the most acupoint expansion times in the devil hero world of this plane, right? Did you say this yourself? Yes. That's what I said. Xiaofan's voice was not timid at all. Well, I don't know where you're getting so much confidence. Although Xiaofan, you're at the top of the demon race in terms of various means, demon power, and demon techniques, but the true qi cultivation of our human race and the demon technique cultivation are two completely different fields. Forget it, let's not talk about this. Now, I can let you enter the Devil Hero Pagoda and let you cultivate in the Soul Room. You can expand the acupoint. When you break through to the 51st true meridian, the acupoint expansion times really broke the history of the predecessors. Then, I guarantee that all the crimes you've committed today will be written off. The Devil Hero Pagoda will no longer pursue your mistakes. However, if your acupoint expansion times is only ordinary, then I'm sorry, Xiaofan, you'll be executed directly. This is a bet. Do you dare to take it? Like this? Xiaofan suddenly blurted out. That's the bet. Xiaofan, do you dare to take it? The man's voice suddenly became cold and stern. Xiaofan. If you break through to the 51st true meridian and the acupoint expansion times for the first time is more than 16 times, or after you finish 10 times, the total acupoint expansion times is more than 95 times, then, you win. You will indeed become the greatest existence in the devil hero world of this plane. On the contrary, if you're lower than this achievement, then you'll have to commit suicide to atone for your sins. Do you dare to take such a bet? Do I dare? Xiaofan's heart shook. Suddenly, many images surged through Xiaofan's mind like a trickle of water. Participate in the Devil Hero trial. Fight against Garen and other geniuses. Kill Demon Emperor Qing Lin. Kill Demon Emperor Azure Dragon. Risk his life to enter the Demon Metropolis. Kill thousands of Demon Emperors. Kill Mutated Demon Emperor. Kill Ultimate Mutated Demon Emperor. Confront the 10 Demon Emperors. Be possessed by a demon god. At the moment of life and death, comprehend the sword intent of the great accomplishment stage. All the past events flashed through his mind. Don't dare to take the bet? Why wouldn't I, Xiaofan, dare to take the bet? I, Xiaofan, am less than 30 years old, and I've been successful in every endeavor. I'm fearless. I even entered the demon metropolis, killed thousands of demon emperors, and escaped unscathed. I, Xiaofan, went from being a living target to my current achievements, slaughtering devil heroes and trapping an eternal giant. I don't dare to take the bet. Xiaofan roared in his heart. Ha 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 ha. All of a sudden, Xiaofan burst into wild laughter. Xiaofan, what are you laughing at? The man asked in a slightly surprised voice. Eternal Giant, let's not talk about this bet first. If I, Xiaofan, win, how can you guarantee that I won't be held accountable? Can you represent the entire Devil Hero Pagoda? Can you represent the Pagoda Master and the Elders? Xiaofan said harshly. That doesn't matter. The man laughed involuntarily. Xiaofan, in our plane, the Devil Hero world, I'm the one who created the highest acupoint expansion times. The first acupoint expansion was 16 times. The 10 acupoints expansion accumulated to 95 times. Tell me, do my words carry any weight? Don't worry about what I promised you. As long as you surpass my results, the Pagoda Master and the Elders will not make things difficult for you after they come out of seclusion. On the contrary, they will value you and cultivate you more. After a pause, the man laughed. If you can surpass my results, it means that your future is limitless. In the future, your achievements will probably not be lower than mine. Xiaofan, you have to understand one thing. Strength can break the rules. Talent and potential can also break the rules. It seems that your wanton massacre in front of the Devil Hero Pagoda is unforgivable. However, as long as you can surpass my results, then everything you do will be within the scope of what I allow. You will have the confidence to break the rules. With such a genius, in the future, you will help the human race to destroy many mutant demon emperors, ultimate mutant demon emperors, and even the great demon emperor. Such a contribution, even 100, 1,000, or 10,000 ordinary demon heroes can't compare to you. They are far inferior to you. Rules are always made for the strong. The strong can crush the old rules and make new rules. And the weak will be crushed to death by the rules if they try to challenge the rules. Oh, I know, you are the person ranked 3rd on the demon hero list. Even among the ancient giants, you are definitely a top existence. Xiaofan suddenly remembered that Shengguan Wudi said that the person who made history by expanding acupoints by 16 times for the first time and 95 times for 10 times was now ranked 3rd on the demon hero list. Oh. I didn't expect you to know my ranking, Xiaofan. The man was slightly stunned and then smiled. If that's the case, Xiaofan, do you believe my words? With my identity, I won't lie to you. Okay. I, Xiaofan, will bet. Xiaofan roared fiercely. Bet. I, Xiaofan, will immediately enter the Demon Hero Pagoda to expand my acupoints. If I can't surpass your results, I, Xiaofan, am willing to commit suicide. Xiaohan's voice contained the rolling confidence of invincibility in the world, domineering and unparalleled. Good intention. Now, I am a little bit appreciative of talent. Xiaofan, remove your demonic spell and release all the hostages. The man smiled. Okay. Xiaofan agreed. The next moment, Xiaohan's body rose into the air, and the whole city below him made a rumbling sound. In an instant, whoosh whoosh whoosh, the buildings in the city, the mountains, the crisscrossing streets, the magnificent palaces, all turned into strands of demonic light, soaring into the sky and lingering around Xiaohan's body. It made Xiaofan feel as if he had fallen into a dreamland. In the end, the space, air, and time of the whole city all turned into demonic runes, disintegrated, and swarmed towards Xiaofan. The wind and clouds surged. The city disintegrated into demonic light and magnificent demonic runes. Buzz buzz buzz, everything merged into the 12th groove on the left arm demon monarch's palm. Very quickly, it condensed into an incomparably beautiful light red gem. In the middle of this gem, a city was sealed. The densely packed demonic runes flickered. The demonic city disappeared. Thousands of ordinary demonic warriors collapsed on the square as if they had collapsed. They were all panting heavily, their eyes were still filled with fear and despair. They looked at each other, their faces pale. Xiaofan stood in the square with his hands behind his back. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, a few rays of light descended from the sky and landed beside Xiaofan. From the rays of light, a few men and women slowly walked out. These men and women were wearing feathered clothes and star crowns. They had an otherworldly appearance, and they stood out from the crowd. Rings of light surrounded them, dreamy, and full of immortal chi. Although these men and women did not seem to have the power to destroy heaven and earth on the surface, there was a powerful force in their bodies. If this force were to burst out, it would definitely cause the wind and clouds to change, and everything would be destroyed. They are all powerful people. Xiaohan's heart tightened. Xiaofan. You little bastard. I will kill you. Shockingly, the ancient titan, who had been trapped by Xiaofan for so long, suddenly made a grasping motion with his right hand. True talismans exploded, and the sun and moon intersected as they shot toward Xiaofan. He wanted to kill Xiaofan. Chapter 393. That ancient giant was humiliated by Xiaofan, and he couldn't help but cry out in anger. He had always been in a high position and had always been the one to bully others. There was no way others could bully him or restrict him. But just now, he had been humiliated by Xiaofan. This made him furious and his murderous intent exploded. He wanted nothing more than to turn Xiaofan's bones into dust. Boom! The ancient giant roared to the sky and waved his right hand. A ray of light flashed and flew towards Xiaofan. A fierce and murderous aura shot up to the sky. When the ray of light shot out, ghosts and gods would not be spared. However, before Xiaofan could make a move, a lean-looking man walked out from the light. He slowly raised his right thumb and pressed down. The peerless ray of light that had been heading towards Xiaofan immediately disappeared. The murderous aura, and the evil aura that had been lingering in the air all disappeared. A clear and boundless atmosphere enveloped the area. "Batian, you don't have to do anything," the scholar said casually. "I will take care of this matter." The ancient giant's expression was sullen as he frowned. However, he didn't dare to say anything else and immediately retracted his arrogance. He only glared at Xiaofan with an expression of anger, but he didn't dare to say anything. "Oh." Xiaofan looked at the man who looked like a scholar. He saw that the scholar did not seem to have anything special about him. He gave off a feeling that he had returned to his natural state. However, in the space above his head, there were thousands of strands of auspicious energy and thousands of rays of light. It was a marvelous sight. Furthermore, upon closer inspection, this scholar's eyes were extremely mystical. His pupils were filled with a simple and unadorned color. As his eyes moved, they revealed a cold and arrogant expression that could not be blasphemed. It was as if he was the ruler of all ages. Moreover, Xiaofan felt that although he and the scholar seemed to be very close, the scholar seemed to be in the depths of billions of parallel universes. Even if Xiaofan searched for his entire life, he would not be able to find his real body. Sparkling and translucent halos could be seen rising from every pore of the scholar's body. In the depths of these halos, the flow of time seemed to be different from the outside world. If someone with a low cultivation base were to attack this elementary scholar rashly, before they could even get close to his body, the sudden flow of time would consume the lifespan of this person with a low cultivation base. This scholar seemed to have comprehended the relationship between time and space. Extremely powerful. No wonder he's ranked third on the chivalrous man list. He was a well-known figure among the ancient giants. I'm definitely not a match for this guy. I'm definitely not a match for him. Xiaofan also sighed in admiration. Shengguan Wudi is ranked 23rd, and this big shot in front of me is ranked 3rd. I'm afraid the difference between their battle prowess is like heaven and earth. That's amazing. Young Xiaofan, your heart is strong, even this seat admires it. The scholar smiled at Xiaofan and Yan Qing. No problem. Senior, were you the one who said you wanted to bet with me? Xiaofan adjusted his state of mind and spoke in a tone that was neither servile nor overbearing. Yes. That's me. The scholar nodded with a smile. Xiaofan, since you've agreed to this bet, then, let's begin. In fact, I'm a bit impatient to see just how much potential you have. Oh? Xiaofan was stunned. Yes. This seat is the creator of the chivalrous man world, the existence that has the highest number of acupoints in history. However, thousands of years have passed, and there is still no chivalrous man who can break this record. This seat is also a little helpless. A trace of loneliness flashed across the scholar's face. To be honest, this seat is not a conservative person. This seat is also eager to see the appearance of a genius who can break this record. I hope Xiaofan will not disappoint this seat. Tisk tsk, this ancient giant's breadth of mind is not comparable to that of the ancient giant just now. Elegant. He has the demeanor of a great master. Xiaofan praised in his heart. This matter concerns my life and death. I also hope to be able to break this senior's record. Xiaofan said with a smile. Indeed extraordinary, indeed extraordinary. The scholar quietly released his spirit and scanned Xiaofan's body. When his spirit swept into Xiaofan's heart and touched the 10,000 Immortals' grand formation on the surface of Xiaofan's heart, the spirit was immediately lost in it. This caused the scholar's eyes to shine with a trace of surprise, and then he nodded repeatedly. Xiaofan, it seems that you have something to rely on. Good. This bet is a big matter for our chivalrous man world. Now, you enter the chivalrous man tower. I'll give you 1 day to recuperate and have a good rest. Tomorrow, you will begin to break through to the acupoint expansion realm. In addition, this seat will announce the bet with you to the world, so that all the chivalrous men in the world know about it. At that time, there will definitely be a large number of chivalrous men coming to watch the ceremony. If you can really break the history that this seat has created, then you will definitely shock the world. Make countless chivalrous men worship you. Then, you don't have to worry about this seat going back on his words, and you don't have to worry about the pagoda master and the elders coming out of seclusion to make things difficult for you. All the chivalrous men in the world will be witnesses. What are you still worried about? Peacefully break through to the next realm. But Xiaofan, if you fail, you will have to commit suicide to atone for your crime. Understand? This senior is indeed generous. In order to dispel Junior's worries, he actually announced it to the world. Good, this is good. Then, Junior will enter the resting area of the chivalrous man tower, recuperate for 1 day, and enter the spirit room tomorrow to break through to the next realm. Xiaofan nodded. Go. The scholar warmly smiled. Xiaofan nodded, and without any ceremony, he strode towards the chivalrous man tower. The scholar watched Xiaofan enter the chivalrous man tower, and then he ordered the few ancient giants beside him. Quickly, announce this matter to the world, so that all the chivalrous men in the world know. This. Are we really going to announce this matter? An ancient giant with a square face asked hesitantly. The scholar slightly narrowed his eyes, and the corner of his mouth rippled with a hint of a smile. Yes, in recent years, our chivalrous man world has not had any exciting events. The entire chivalrous man world even has a taste of stagnant water. This time, we should take this opportunity to make a big fuss. If Xiaofan can really break my record, then the entire chivalrous man world will be excited. And it will also encourage other young chivalrous men, so that everyone will cultivate harder. In addition, Xiaofan has killed so many chivalrous men here, including many senior chivalrous men. If this matter is not handled well, it will lose the hearts of the people. If we announce the bet, and Xiaofan breaks the record, then the other chivalrous men will be convinced, and there will not be any criticism. If Xiaofan fails, then he will commit suicide in front of everyone, which will also make the other chivalrous men convinced, and reflect the justice of the chivalrous man tower. Good. That's it. Big brother, when you do things, you really pay attention to every aspect and take every possibility into account. A beautiful middle-aged woman said with a sweet smile. Southern region. Mountain range. Temple. 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 In the garden. Wuli was sitting in a pavilion, flipping through an ancient book with a carefree expression on his face. Dongfang Qin and Fang Ling stood on his left and right. At this time, Dongfang Qin and Fang Ling's true qi was more vigorous than before. Their gazes, spirit, and aura were also different from before. Dongfang Qin, Fang Ling, you have finally entered the expanded acupoint state. This is the fortune of the sect. I also congratulate you. Wu Yu gently put the ancient book in his hand on the stone table and smiled. In the past, your realm was not enough, and it was impossible for me to teach you some true qi divine arts. But now, you have expanded your acupoints, and your true qi capacity has greatly increased. You can cultivate some powerful true qi divine arts. Thank you, sect master. Dongfang Qin and Fang Ling thanked him in unison. However, Fang Ling smiled bitterly. Sect Master, it seems that our aptitude is indeed mediocre. After entering the expanded acupoint state, my first acupoint expansion was only 4 times, and senior brother Dongfang only 5 times. Compared to senior brother's 7 times, we are still far behind. It's okay. Everyone has a life. You have to learn to leave it to fate. This world is huge, and there are many geniuses. Don't blindly compare yourself with others. Just do your best. Dongfang Qin, Fang Ling, you are both hard-working people, and your future achievements may not be low. Maybe one day, you can also enter the ranks of the ancient giants. You will have a favorable ranking on the monster hero ranking. Will you encourage them? Dongfang Qin and Fang Ling both nodded. However, very quickly, both of their faces were filled with worry. After a while, Dongfang Qin could not help but say softly, "Sect Master, Junior Brother Xiaofan. Sect Master, last month, the Master of the Monster Hero Pagoda personally issued an obituary, claiming that Junior Brother Xiaofan was dead. He died in the hands of a demon called the Silver Mask Demon Emperor, and his brain was sucked out. It was a horrible sight to behold. Now, the Monster Hero Pagoda has sent people to build a cenotaph for Junior Brother Xiaofan at the foot of our mountain. Sect Master, is Junior Brother Xiaofan really dead?" Fang Ling asked with a trembling voice. When Junior Brother Xiaofan left the sect, he said that the Monster Hero Pagoda sent him to carry out a secret mission, and now, his life is uncertain. Sect Master. Wu Yu waved his hand, looked at the void far away, and said indifferently, "I have a feeling that Xiaofan is still alive. He is not dead. Don't panic for the time being." At this moment, Wu Yu flipped his right hand, and a monster hero token appeared in his hand. He immersed his spirit into the monster hero token. After a while, Wu Yu beamed with joy. "Good. That's great. Sect Master." Fang Ling and Dongfang Qin were stunned. Ha ha ha. As expected, Xiaofan, that kid, is still alive. He is alive and well. Just now, Shengguan Wudi sent me a message, telling me that Xiaofan is alive and well, and has now returned to the Monster Hero Pagoda. Wu Yu laughed heartily. However, Xiaofan's demon chivalrous token is not in his hands. That's why he asked Shengguan Wudi to send a message on his behalf to tell him that he is safe. This kid actually befriended Shengguan Wudi. Good boy. The ancient giant Shengguan Wudi? Fang Ling and Dongfang Qin were both shocked. However, before Wu Yu could answer, his monster hero token sent a message again, and he quickly immersed his spirit into it. Suddenly, Wu Yu's face changed dramatically. After a few breaths, Wu Yu stood up directly. "Hurry to the monster hero region. Something big has happened." Sect Master. This? Xiaofan caused a great disaster in front of the Monster Hero Pagoda and killed many monsters. Now, he made a bet with an ancient giant to expand his acupoints. As long as he can expand his acupoints by more than 16 times for the first time, or expand his acupoints by more than 95 times for the 10th time, all his sins will be forgiven, and the Monster Hero Pagoda will not pursue it, but if he can't meet this requirement, he will die immediately. Now, the Monster Hero Pagoda has announced this matter to all the monsters in the world. Hurry! Hurry to the Monster Hero Pagoda. At the same time, all the monsters in the world received the news about Xiaofan. For a moment, shock, surprise, horror, curiosity, excitement. The entire Monster Hero region was moved by what Xiaofan had done. Between heaven and earth, the wind and clouds were surging. Countless monsters rushed to the Monster Hero Pagoda at the first time. They wanted to witness Xiaofan expand his acupoints. They wanted to see if this lawless young man, who trampled on the rules, could break through the acupoints expansion multiplier in the history of the Monster Hero region. Chapter 394. Night. The night was as cold as water. The sky was full of twinkling stars, like beautiful gems. The bright moon shone with an unparalleled celestial beauty. The Devil Hero region was the holy land of the human world. There was not a trace of filth in the air. The nights in the Devil Hero region were the most fascinating. The Devil Hero Pagoda. The 55th floor. In the Devil Hero Pagoda, the 11th to 100th floors were all leisure and entertainment areas. The environment on each floor was very comfortable. Xiaofan casually found a room on the 55th floor and moved in. The room was lit up with a soft orange light. Xiaofan sat cross-legged on the bed, his entire spirit completely relaxed. Completely relaxed. No thoughts or thoughts. Xiaofan even picked up a book and read it with great interest. After a long time, Xiaofan closed the book and a faint smile appeared on his face. Relax. Don't put any pressure on yourself. I can't be burdened mentally. Tomorrow is the day I, Xiaofan, open my meridians. I'm not sure if I can break through this realm and make history. I'm going to break through to the next realm. Naturally, I'll go to the spirit house. The key to breaking through acupoints is the accumulation and foundation, the perception of true acupoints, and the mental strength. Once he had accumulated enough, he would be able to keenly sense the existence and exact location of every single acupoint. Then, he would temper his spirit until it was flawless, free of dust and dirt, impervious to all evils, and as sharp as a sword. Then, he would be able to break his acupoints one after another in one go. Being in the spirit chamber allowed me to concentrate to the greatest extent, allowing me to hold my breath and merge my mind, spirit, and body into one. My mind becomes clear. Extremely sharp. I can sense the location of true acupoints more clearly, and it can also greatly refine my mental strength. It's very effective for breaking through acupoints. Moreover, cultivating in the spirit house is also very beneficial for martial artists with sword intent and saber intent. That ancient tycoon ranked 3rd on the Devil Hero ranking. He's really magnanimous. He gave me a spirit house that can increase my mental sense by 100 times for free. That's the best quality spirit house. Sometimes, I encountered a bottleneck in breaking through acupoints and couldn't make any progress for many years. However, once I entered the 100 times spirit house, I had a 70% to 80% chance of breaking through the bottleneck. It made sense. My mental sense suddenly increased by 100 times. It was equivalent to the success rate of breaking through acupoints. Suddenly. An increase of 100 times. I once heard from senior brother Dongfang Qin that there was an ancient tycoon on the demon hero ranking. Back then, when he was breaking through to the talisman transformation realm from the meridian expanding realm, he was about to explode the 61st true acupoint. He tried for 30 years to no avail. In the end, he entered the 100 times room of Psyche. 10 days later, he broke out of his cocoon and broke through the prison in one go. He opened the 61st acupoint and his true chi was transformed into a true talisman. A few years later, he successfully entered the ranks of the ancient giants. Night. Outside the Wuxia Pagoda. At this moment, the outside of the Wuxia Pagoda was not as quiet as the inside. The square outside the Wuxia Pagoda was densely packed with people. Hearing the news, countless heroes rushed over to witness Xiaofan's breakthrough to expanded acupoint realm. They treated Xiaofan's breakthrough as a grand ceremony. This was no small matter. The chivalrous men who could stand in the square were almost all ranked on the chivalrous men list. As for the ordinary chivalrous men who did not have a ranking, they gathered everywhere in the Wuxia domain, looking forward to it. In the square, spiritual energy was surging like a tide. Rays of light, colorful lights, crimson haze, and misty mist were rising. Countless chivalrous men were in groups of 3 to 5 and they were all discussing. In the sky, there were meteor-like lights flashing into the Wuxia domain. It was no exaggeration to say that at this moment, the entire Wuxia domain had gathered hundreds of thousands of chivalrous men. It was unbelievably lively. In the square. Sect Master, the ancient tycoons in the Wuxia Pagoda have issued a strict order. No chivalrous men can enter the Wuxia Pagoda and can only wait outside. Now we can't see junior brother Xiaofan for the time being. I'm so anxious. Dongfang Qin stood in the square and was so anxious that he scratched his ears and cheeks. Sect Master, can you think of a way to make those ancient tycoons bend the rules and let us enter the Wuxia Pagoda to find junior brother Xiaofan? Fang Ling was also very anxious. Don't panic. Wu Hu frowned. I've already communicated with a few ancient tycoons that we're on good terms with. We can't enter. From tonight onwards, the Wuxia Pagoda will be closed. We can only leave but not enter. No one is allowed to see Xiaofan. Oh. Dongfang Qin and Fang Ling were both dumbfounded. Yes. In fact, this is also a chance for Xiaofan to completely relax. If we go to find Xiaofan at this juncture, it will undoubtedly distract him. Wu Hu said in agreement. Dongfang Qin, Fang Ling, you have to know that it's not that simple for Xiaofan to expand his acupoints this time. He's not breaking through to the next realm, but challenging history. Yes, he's challenging history. Fang Ling and Dongfang Qin both nodded. If he succeeds, then everything will be fine. If he fails, Xiaofan will be executed. Wu Hu frowned. Brother Wu, how have you been? A deep and powerful voice rang out. Wu Hu looked up and saw old acquaintances, Mo Qingtong's master, Heavenly Devil Old Man, and Fatty Zhu's father, Zhu Ganglai. The two of them came together. Heavenly Devil Old Man, Fatty Zhu, you're here too. Wu Hu greeted. Heavenly Devil Old Man and Zhu Ganglai came to Wu Hu's side. Brother Wu, we also received the message at the same time. Originally, we disdained coming to the Wuxia Pagoda to observe other people's cultivation. However, when we heard that it's related to Xiaofan, we couldn't sit still. Heavenly Devil Old Man said. My disciple, Qingtong, is training in the depths of the great wilderness. After receiving the message, she was also anxious. However, she was in an ancient barrier and couldn't leave. She could only send a message to me and ask me to come and watch the ceremony. Brother Wu, this time, this little guy Xiaofan has made things big. Fatty Zhu swallowed his saliva and his eyes widened. He actually dared to kill a Wuxia in the Wuxia region. This is the first time in thousands of years. I've already asked about this matter. Xiaofan killed him. They're all the old antiques that nurtured Garen and his group of playboys. All of them made things difficult for Xiaofan. Death cannot wipe out. Forget it. These things are no longer important. Now, Xiaofan's life depends on the result of his meridian opening. Big Wu said bluntly. He paused for a moment and sighed slightly. Xiaofan's trouble is really big. Our sect can no longer protect him. It's up to him. Brother Wu, you don't have to worry too much. After all, Xiaofan is a young genius. He's the best in the world. I'm very optimistic about him. Tampering with history, Heavenly Devil Old Man said quickly. Humph, a cold voice sounded. An ancient dragon's roar came from the sky. A bone dragon. It was about 1,000 feet long, and on every bone. On every bone, it was filled with densely packed dragon-shaped characters. It was filled with ancient history and the vicissitudes of life. Its pressure was as deep as the sea. In next to no time, the bone dragon broke down into strands of light that fused into the body of a human. A young man in a yellow robe walked down from the sky with a single step. His eyes were brewing the civilization of the ancient dragon clan. His whole body was bathed in the dragon chi. Every move he made had an irresistible majesty. The world was big, and he could control it. It was the dragon-bone Saint Saber, the best friend of the great Sun Emperor. At this moment, when the dragon-bone Saint Saber appeared, it looked at Big Wu with a cold face. Sect Master Wu, this brat Xiaofan has countless tricks. But in terms of true qi cultivation, his talent is indeed very poor. I'm sure that Xiaofan will die this time. He still wants to challenge the history of meridian opening? That's completely courting death. The voice of the dragon-bone Saint Saber contained hatred that couldn't be washed away even with the water of 3 rivers and 5 lakes. The great Sun Emperor was crippled by Xiaofan. This made the dragon-bone Saint Saber hold a grudge and view Xiaofan as a mortal enemy. Hee, dragon-bone Saint Saber, shut your stinky mouth. You fart in front of everyone. It's really stinky. An extremely lazy voice sounded. Hee. Dragon-bone Saint Saber, you and your best friend, the great Sun Emperor, are all despicable people. What, the great Sun Emperor was crippled by junior brother Xiaofan, and you're here to gloat? A young man of medium height, wearing clothes cut from animal skin, walked over from afar. He looked to be around 25 or 26 years old. His appearance was ordinary, but there was a trace of a cynical smile on the corner of his mouth. It was the finishing touch, causing him to glow with a strange charm. He held a wooden bow in his hand and carried a quiver of arrows on his back. Those were bone arrows chiseled from white beast bones. Each arrow was engraved with runes and seal characters, surging with power that made the mountains and rivers tremble. His leather boots were stained with ancient leaves from the depths of the great wilderness. He seemed to have come from the great wilderness. As he walked, the bone arrows in the quiver gently knocked against each other, making a crisp sound like wind chimes. Xiao Mingchu came. The eldest senior brother of the current generation of Cloud Sect. The chief disciple of Big Wu. The giant of all ages on the monster cultivator list. Eldest senior brother, you're here. Dongfang Qin and Fang Ling hurriedly greeted. Sect Master, you're well. Xiao Mingchu walked over. Yes, Mingchu. Big Wu nodded. The dragon-bone divine saber said in a strange tone. Okay, you have more people, I won't talk to you anymore. However, I'll sit and watch Xiaofan be executed tomorrow. Ha. After saying that, his figure disappeared. What junior brother Xiaofan did today is really satisfying. After hearing about it, I almost slapped the table and applauded. But it's quite tricky. Junior brother Xiaofan will break through the realm tomorrow and challenge history. This. Xiao Mingchu sighed. It's a pity that we can only watch from the sidelines and can't help junior brother Xiaofan. Let's see this kid's luck this time. Big Wu looked up at the night sky. I always feel that Xiaofan is not fated to die yet. Forget it, let's wait until tomorrow. The first ray of morning light rose from the horizon. The entire Monster Xia region was shrouded in a layer of mist. In the square in front of the Monster Xia Tower, thousands of monster cultivators stopped. Outside the square, in other areas of the Monster Xia region, hundreds of thousands of monster cultivators were looking forward. The scene was extremely quiet. At this moment, boom, a huge light screen appeared in the void of the Monster Xia region. There was nothing on the light screen, and it was white and flawless. What's this? Countless monster cultivators looked up at the light screen in confusion. At the same time, a majestic and invincible voice came from the Monster Xia Tower. Monster cultivators, welcome back to the Monster Xia region to watch the grand ceremony. Today, the rare genius of the Monster Xia region, young Xiaofan, is going to break through to the expanded Meridian realm. I've already provided him with a house of spirit that is 100 times stronger. Now, Xiaofan has entered the house of spirit that is 100 times stronger. Xiaofan killed a large number of monster cultivators in front of the Monster Xia Tower yesterday. He should be executed for his crimes. However, on account of Xiaofan's innate talent, I will make a bet with him. Today, Xiaofan will break through to the expanded Meridian realm. If he can break the history that I created back then, I'll pardon Xiaofan's crimes on behalf of the Pagoda Master and the many elders. If Xiaofan fails, then, he'll be executed on the spot. He won't be tolerated. Now, 6 or 7 out of 10 monster cultivators in the world have arrived at the Monster Xia region. Everyone, please be a witness. This light screen is connected to the house of spirit that Xiaofan is in. The situation of Xiaofan's meridian expansion will be reflected on the light screen at a glance. Everyone will know once they see it. Sect Master, if that's the case, junior brother Xiaofan's meridian expansion will be known to us immediately. Fan Ling stared at the light screen floating in the void with a solemn expression. I'm a little nervous. Xiao Mingchu's voice trembled slightly. Monster Xia Tower. Level 429. This level was filled with houses of spirit. There were 1,500 houses of spirit. They were divided into increasing the spiritual sense by 100 times. Spiritual sense by 10 times. Spiritual sense by 100 times. A woman who was about 16 years old had a beautiful face and an otherworldly aura. She wore a star hairpin on her head and wore a plain silk robe. She exuded a noble and pure aura from head to toe. That aura made people feel a sense of reverence from the bottom of their hearts. She brought Xiaofan to a spirit house and handed a crystal key to him as she spoke in a serious tone. Xiaofan, this is a 100 times house of spirit. It's also the highest quality house of spirit on this level. You can enter now. She paused for a moment and said solemnly. Xiaofan, all the best. Good luck. Thank you, Senior Elaine. Xiaofan took the crystal key. To be continued. Chapter 395. Devil Hero Domain. At this moment, countless devil heroes had come to the Devil Hero Domain to observe Xiaofan's acupoint expansion ceremony. One must know that the current Xiaofan had already become a figure at the heart of the struggle. His experience was legendary. Last month, the master of the Hero Tower personally issued an obituary, announcing to the world that Xiaofan was dead. Then, Xiaofan's recent miraculous survival, and his unscrupulous slaughter of the hero warriors. Anything that Xiaofan had done was enough to become the topic of conversation for countless hero warriors. And now, he was going to challenge this dimension, the largest acupoint expansion in the history of the Devil Hero Domain. And this time, he was going to challenge history with his life. Countless devil heroes looked up at the light screen suspended in the void. In this light screen, Xiaofan's acupoint expansion would be reflected immediately, so that all the devil heroes in the world would know it like the back of their hands. The atmosphere was extremely tense, exciting, eye-catching, and shocking. Everyone held their breath. In private, there were also many heroes who used mental waves to communicate with each other through voice transmissions. Do you think Xiaofan can break history? The person who created the expanded acupoint realm and the person who expanded acupoints the most is the person who is ranked third on the monster hero ranking. When he first expanded his acupoint, it was 16 times. 10 times, it accumulated to 95 times. This result was unprecedented, and no one would be able to achieve it in the future. Let's see if Xiaofan can break it. But I think it's very uncertain. Think about it, how long has our dimension been around? This record of acupoint expansion has been maintained for countless eras. It's not something that can be broken easily. I estimate this record. It's our dimension. The upper limit of the acupoint expansion realm. TSK. Once Xiaofan fails, he will be executed. You can't say that. Records are made to be broken. New records will replace the old ones sooner or later. This is the law of all things. Wu Yu and the others were also nervous. Are we going to start? Xiao Ming-chu had always been lazy, arrogant, and carefree. Now, cold sweat seeped out of his forehead. "Brother Wu, tell me the truth. What do you think?" The heavenly devil old man was not relaxed either. Wu Yu's eyes flickered. He thought for a moment before speaking. Xiaofan has already accumulated sufficient strength. It is already a matter of time before he reaches expanded acupoint realm. Moreover, he expanded the acupoints by multiple times. He would definitely surpass the beginning of the Ming dynasty. But, the first time Ming Chu had expanded his acupoints, he had only expanded them by 7 times. It's still a far cry from the creator of history 16 times. In our plane, every ancient powerhouse is a monstrous genius who possesses unparalleled luck, talent, wisdom, and luck. According to what I know, most of the ancient powerhouses would only be able to expand their acupoints by around 10 times during their first attempt. Those with 12 times or 13 times were already considered geniuses. I really don't know what kind of results Xiao Han can achieve. However, breaking history was indeed extremely difficult. Alright, don't ask me anymore, my heart is starting to get nervous. Even Crow started to feel nervous. As for Fang Ling and Dongfang Qin, they were so scared that they did not dare to speak. The highest floor of the Yaoxia Pagoda. This was a hazy space, and there were abundant vital energy fluctuations everywhere. White mist lingered, and the ground was also filled with white mist. No one knew how deep it was, and it was unimaginably magical. The ancient powerhouse that looked like a scholar had his hands behind his back, facing a floor-to-ceiling window. Outside the window was the square and the vast Yaoxia domain. The ancient powerhouse that looked like a scholar looked into the distance and saw that the outside was filled with Yaoxia cultivators. Naturally, he could also see the huge light screen floating in the void. Behind the ancient powerhouse that looked like a scholar, there were dozens of ancient powerhouses sitting on the chairs. Their auras were as deep as the sea, ethereal, and the fragrance of sandalwood. Has Xiao Han already entered the 100 times House of Spirit? The ancient powerhouse that looked like a scholar said softly. He has already entered. He is about to break through to the next realm. Looking at Xiao Han's spirit, the first acupoint expansion should be extremely easy. Let's see the multiplier of the first acupoint expansion. A middle-aged beauty smiled gently. Generally speaking, the multiplier of the first acupoint expansion can be directly seen through the cumulative multiplier of the 10 acupoints expansion. So to judge whether Xiao Han can break the historical record set by Big Brother, we only need to observe the multiplier of the first acupoint expansion. Yes. An ancient powerhouse that had a square face nodded in agreement. Throughout history, when the human martial artists in our realm reach the acupoint expansion realm, the multiplier of the second acupoint expansion will almost always be weaker than the first. The multiplier of the third acupoint expansion will almost always be weaker than the second. Each acupoint expansion will be weaker than the last. That is why everyone says that the first acupoint expansion is extremely important. It can show one's future achievements. In history, there has never been a case where the multiplier of the second acupoint expansion was greater than the first. This is common sense. Therefore, if the multiplier of the first acupoint expansion is less than 16 times, then it will be considered a complete failure. Another ancient powerhouse said eloquently. Alright, quiet down. Now let us watch Xiao Han's performance. I hope that Xiao Han can create new history. The ancient powerhouse that looked like a scholar stared at the light screen outside the window and did not speak anymore. The 429th level of the Yaoxia Tower. Xiao Han took the crystal key from the hands of the experienced demon warrior, Elaine, who was in charge of this level. He turned around and opened the door. In an instant, the door closed automatically. This was a small room that was only 10 square meters in size. In the middle of the room, there was a futon. Other than that, there was nothing else. In the small room, there were white talismans floating in the air. These talismans were the size of a palm. They were like flying reeds and sacred leaves. They were mighty and majestic. Moreover, as soon as he entered this small house, Xiaofan felt that his spirit was gradually brightening up. It was like a knife that was placed on a whetstone and continuously sharpened. Very quickly, a bright light seeped out from between Xiaofan's eyebrows from his sea of consciousness. It was dazzling, crystal clear, and it lit up the entire house of insanity. Xiaofan's thoughts became clearer and clearer. Brighter and brighter. More and more profound. More and more penetrating. This is really amazing. The moment I entered the house of insanity, it was like it was a completely different world from the outside world. In here, my perception has greatly increased. It even seems like I've developed a mysterious sixth sense. Xiaofan clicked his tongue in wonder. The last time I exploded my acupoints, I entered a house of insanity that was 10 times stronger. And now, I've entered a house of insanity that was 100 times stronger. Indeed. In this house of insanity that was 100 times stronger, the sharpness of my spirit, qi, and spirit far exceeds that of the house of insanity that was 10 times stronger. It gives me a wonderful feeling of boundless space. Very quickly, Xiaofan walked to the futon in the middle of the room and sat down on it. Xiaofan sat cross-legged and looked down like an old monk in meditation. The position of this futon was the area where the talismans were the most concentrated. A series of talismans descended from the sky and wrapped around Xiaofan's body. They were all wrapped up. The talismans were like snowflakes. They merged into Xiaofan's cerebral cortex. Suddenly, Xiaofan's spirit became sharp and penetrating. It was like the bright sun shining in the clear sky. His entire brain seemed to have turned into a blue sky with white clouds. It was clean, without any dirt or shadow. The whole world was intoxicated with peach blossoms and infinite fragrance. In an instant, Xiaofan's spirit became clear. The minute changes in his body, such as his heartbeat, blood circulation, cell division and production, the contraction of his pores, the change in body temperature, the movement of his internal organs, all of them were clearly reflected in Xiaofan's mind. It was as if he was looking at the lines on his palm. There was even a ball of blazing light that seeped out from Xiaofan's brain and formed a halo that enveloped Xiaofan's head. This was the spiritual halo that was emitted when one's spirit was raised to a certain level. Under the cover of the spiritual halo, Xiaofan's reaction speed, thinking ability, and sensing ability all rose steadily. In fact, every minute thing that had happened in the past was like a trickling stream that flowed before Xiaofan's eyes. It allowed Xiaofan to easily recall many trivial things that had long been forgotten in the corner of his mind. Xiaofan was completely immersed in the wondrous state where his spirit and sense of touch had increased by 100 times. Under such a state, the position of Xiaofan's 51st acupoint was clearly reflected in his mind. Moreover, Wang, a ball of scorching light emitted from Xiaofan's body in the shape of a 5-pointed star. This was the 51st acupoint. Good, watch me, Xiaofan, break through the 51st acupoint, Xiaofan was about to gather his spirit power and break through the 51st acupoint in one go, but, pooh! The 51st acupoint had actually broken through by itself. As the 51st acupoint broke through, waves of true energy rippled out with Xiaofan as the center. Moreover, all the acupoints in Xiaofan's body began to wriggle, and every acupoint was expanding. Around Xiaofan's body, bright red flames that resembled epiphyllum flowers appeared. They flickered and entered Xiaofan's meridians and acupoints, condensing Xiaofan's body, blood vessels, muscles, and bones, expanding the capacity of Xiaofan's acupoints. During this process of condensing, Xiaofan's aura became more and more ferocious, and the quality of his true energy rose steadily. However, what's going on? Xiaofan was shocked. I wasn't even fully prepared, and the 51st acupoint broke through by itself. That's right, I understand now. With my life force, cultivation, and accumulation, the 51st acupoint should have been broken through long ago. It's just that back in Demon Metropolis, I didn't dare to break through to the next realm. I didn't dare to expand my acupoint. Now that I'm in the 100x room of spirit, my spirit power is highly concentrated, like a peerless blade showing off its sharpness. The 51st acupoint that I've been holding back for a long time finally couldn't be controlled anymore, and exploded on its own. This is a bit boring. I haven't even used my strength yet. Bang! All of a sudden, the acupoints in Xiaofan's body emitted a sound of explosion. This sound was extremely violent, like a landslide or tsunami, like thousands of volcanoes erupting together. Double the acupoint. Bang! All the acupoints in his body exploded once again. Double the acupoint. Bang! Another explosion. Space trembled. Triple the acupoint. Xiaofan mysteriously broke through the 51st acupoint, exploding it 13 times. This meant that the first time he expanded his acupoint by 13 times. After a long time, Xiaofan's 51st acupoint finally stabilized. Expand my acupoint by 13 times? Xiaofan was shocked and confused. No way. I wasn't prepared at all. Automatically exploding my acupoint. I was completely caught off guard. No way. No way. When he was breaking through the 52nd acupoint. I have to focus and control it. I can't just explode it passively. Very quickly, Xiaofan calmed his mind and wholeheartedly focused on the position of the 52nd acupoint. Outside the Wuxia tower. The light screen floating in the void finally had a strong fluctuation. He's starting to expand his acupoint. Xiaofan is starting to expand his acupoint. Immediately, in the square. One of the heroes couldn't help but roar. At the same time, bang! 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 On the light screen, there were also explosions. Every explosion would form a red circular pattern on the light screen. It was not until 13 red circular patterns were left on the light screen that the explosions stopped. Silence. The entire square was extremely quiet. The entire Wuxia region. It was extremely quiet. Countless Wuxia stared at the light screen with their mouths agape. After a few hundred breaths, on the light screen, true chi waves exploded 13 times. Xiaofan successfully broke through the 51st acupoint. The first time, 13 times. In the square, there was a sharp roar. Oh no! Suddenly, Wuyu blurted out, Xiaofan's first time expanding his acupoint by 13 times. This is a level that only a genius among geniuses can achieve, but it's still a long way from breaking the record. Sect leader, this is bad. Xiao Mingchu's face was also pale, trembling. Compared to the historical record, it's 3 times worse. On the highest level of the Wuxia pagoda, 13 times. The scholar-like giant stared at the light screen outside the window, frowning deeply. He's indeed a genius, but Xiaofan lost. Several ancient giants blurted out. Humph. He called himself a genius and kept bragging about himself, saying that he wanted to create a new history of expanding acupoints. Ha 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 ha. What an idiot. What can I say now? The first time, it's only 13 times. It's almost destined that he won't be able to break the record. Xiaofan should die. A madman like him should be punished severely. The ancient giant who was trapped in the demon city by Xiaofan stood up and said in a strange tone. Let's observe a little longer. The scholar-like giant's face was also a little ugly. Xiaofan is indeed likely to lose this bet. In the House of Vigor with 100 times. Xiaofan's eyes were tightly shut. In Xiaofan's body, there was a bright halo that was shaped like a 5-pointed star. That was the location of the 52nd acupoint. However, Xiaofan was not in a hurry to open the 50-second acupoint. He was preparing. I, Xiaofan, have dominated the 4 seas, crushing everything with my strength. The winner is king, and I seek life in death. I, Xiaofan, have experienced many tough battles and hovered between life and death. I participated in the Demon Hero Selection competition and narrowly escaped death. I fought against Demon Emperor Qing Lin and killed him. I fell into the dwelling of the Heavenly Dragon Empire's totem and almost died in the stomach of a beast. I encountered the Green Dragon Demon Emperor, and in a situation where I had no chance of winning, I turned defeat into victory and killed the Green Dragon Demon Emperor. I smashed the ancient giant Li Fanming with one punch. I entered the demon metropolis alone. In this world, no human dares to enter the demon metropolis. Even the ancient giant would instantly turn into ashes and die a violent death. But I, Xiaofan, dare to do so. In the demon metropolis, I kill ordinary demon emperors. I kill mutant demon emperors. I kill ultimate mutant demon emperors. I am possessed by an invincible demon god. My accumulation is invincible in the world. Out of all the humans in the world, at my age, which one of them had the same experience as me? Which one of them has the heaven-defying accumulation that I have? Xiaohan's spirit became more and more intense. In his body, streams of light flickered, and his whole body glowed with dazzling light and vitality. In the end, every cell and every pore of his was closely connected to the void. In his body, there was a hymn singing, and balls of great true qi wrapped around his body, appearing and disappearing along with his aura. In his mind, spirit surged, and even his soul became more condensed and solid. His entire brain region was in turmoil, as though a giant was about to split the heavens and earth apart. All right. The time has come. The 50-second true acupoint, open it for me. Roar. Xiaofan let out a loud roar. This roar contained all of Xiaohan's spirit and strength. Pooh! The 50-second true acupoint directly exploded. Double the acupoint. Double the acupoint. Bang, triple the acupoint. Bang! 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 Suddenly, Xiaohan stood up. His entire body was filled with pure light, without any impurities. The true acupoints in his body kept exploding, and the number was multiplying. After a long time, the sound of the explosion finally stopped. Xiaohan successfully opened the 50-second true acupoint. Expand the acupoint by 50 times. For the first time, Xiaohan was completely unprepared, and was caught off guard. He only expanded the acupoint by 13 times. However, for the second time, after some preparation, Xiaohan suddenly exploded, and directly expanded the acupoint by 50 times. He had completely and perfectly displayed all the knowledge he had accumulated throughout his life. The potential of his life was displayed. The 2 times, Xiaohan expanded the acupoint by 63 times. Xiaohan still had a total of 8 chances left. To be continued. Chapter 396. Xiaohan had broken through the 50-second acupoint. The second acupoint expansion. The acupoint expansion reached 50 times. Shocking the world. At this moment, Xiaohan could only feel that every acupoint of his had a great increase in sensitivity to the surrounding true qi. In fact, every single acupoint produced a vortex that devoured the Xinqi that was drifting in the house of Psyche like a whale. Xiaofan's body moved casually and he could feel countless true qi surging towards him and pouring into his acupoints. Streams of true qi formed from the condensation of true qi and made a sizzling sound. Endless true qi wrapped around Xiaofan. Waves surged and appeared and disappeared. Good. Good. Very good. Xiaofan's heart was neither sad nor happy. He was not complacent because of this result. It was just a self-evaluation. Now that the capacity of the acupoints has increased, I can cultivate even more powerful true qi skills in the future. My accumulation is far from this. Continue to break through the acupoints. Buzz, the position of the 53rd acupoint appeared in Xiaofan's body. It was bright and clear. Xiaofan sat down cross-legged and began to accumulate energy. He was about to break through the acupoint for the third time. Outside the Wuxia tower. Silence. Complete silence. Hundreds of thousands of Wuxia stared at the light screen floating in the air like clay statues. On the light screen, there was a second wave of true qi explosion. After 50 explosions, 50 red circular patterns were left behind. This indicated that Xiaofan's second acupoint expansion had reached 50 times. The expressions on the faces of every chivalrous swordsman stiffened. Some of the Wuxia saw that Xiaofan's first acupoint expansion was only 13 times. It was far from being comparable to the historical founder's first acupoint expansion. Then, they thought of Xiaofan's shameless words. Pretentious. They all felt a sense of schadenfreude. Their expressions were filled with ridicule and mockery. However, at this moment, their mockery was frozen on their faces. They were as cold as unborn babies. Then, their bodies began to tremble uncontrollably. They rubbed their eyes and looked at the red circular patterns on the light screen. They counted over and over again, their hearts filled with disbelief, after a long time. Impossible. This is completely impossible. In the expanded acupoint realm, one had to expand one's acupoints by 10 times each time. How difficult was that? This was Xiaofan's first time expanding his meridians by 13 times. Forget it, he expanded his meridians for the second time. How could it surpass the first time? This was something that had never happened before in history. The multiplier of the acupoint enlargement could only be less and less, it was impossible to exceed it. Xiaofan's second acupoint expansion was 50 times. How could it be so abnormal? Reaching the heavens in a single bound, reaching the heavens in a single bound. Such talent, if it is true, in our plane, no, in countless planes, he will be an immortal legend. Suddenly, one of the giants from ancient times began to howl. He had completely lost control of himself, and it seemed like his mind was about to collapse. The next moment, the entire Wuxia domain was in an uproar. It was completely boiling. Second meridian expansion. 50 times. Monster. A miracle. A miracle. Is Xiaofan not human? Could he be an immortal who had descended to the mortal world and reincarnated? Ah. Sect leader. Junior brother Xiaofan. 2 times of meridian expansion and the accumulated result is 63 times. 2 times of meridian expansion and the result is more than the result of 10 times of meridian expansion. Xiao Mingchu also roared crazily. His face was filled with excitement and shock. Sect leader, our pure maiden sect has risen. Our pure maiden sect has given birth to a divine talent that has not been seen in billions of years. Our pure maiden sect has completely flourished. Good lad. If this goes on, he will become an immortal sooner or later. He will become a real immortal. Wu Yu clenched his fists tightly, unable to control himself. On the highest floor of the Wuxia tower, Pu, the beautiful middle-aged giant, had completely lost her elegance and restraint. She spat out a mouthful of fragrant tea that was in her mouth. Then, her fragrant body jumped several zhang high and landed in front of the floor-to-ceiling window. She stared blankly at the light screen that was suspended in the void. 50. 50. 50 times? At the same time, the dozens of giants who had been sitting down all jumped up one by one, scratching their ears and cheeks, beating their chests and stamping their feet, and howling at the top of their lungs. Second meridian expansion by 50 times. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All the giants rushed to the window and slammed their hands on it, as if they were having a seizure. The bearing of an immortal. I'm afraid there is no monster like Xiaofan in the entire universe. The second meridian expansion is multiple times more than the first meridian expansion, breaking the rules, crushing history, and obliterating everything. Good. That's great. The giant who looked like a scholar let out a long cry. I didn't expect such a person to appear in an ordinary plane like ours. Is this the legendary quality of becoming an immortal? Is this the undefeatable person who will sweep through the entire universe in the future? After a pause, he forced himself to calm down. All of you, be quiet. All of you are giants of the ancient times, yet you can't keep your composure. Now, let's see if Xiaofan can break through the 53rd meridian and proceed with the third meridian expansion. The third meridian expansion is extremely important. Now, it seems that Xiaofan's third meridian expansion is far more important than his first meridian expansion by 100 or even 1,000 times. For any martial artist, after entering the meridian expansion realm, the first meridian expansion was the most important. But this elementary scholar said that Xiaofan's third meridian expansion was 100 or even 1,000 times more important than the first. The group of ancient powerhouses looked at the scholar with blank eyes. Xiaofan is a person with extraordinary talent. We can no longer use common sense to measure him. The elementary scholar quickly explained. His first meridian expansion was only 13 times. But, the second meridian expansion is many times more powerful than the first, reaching 50 times. This was unprecedented, an extraordinary and transcendent matter. But, we all know that for a meridian expansion realm martial artist, the multiple meridian expansion is closely related to one's luck, accumulation, life force, talent, hard work. Not a single one can be left out. Now, I'm worried that Xiaofan's second meridian expansion will be too fierce. Big brother, I understand what you mean. You're worried that Xiaofan's second meridian expansion will be useless. All of his life force and accumulation will be used up. All of it will be used up. That's right. According to common sense, the 10 meridian expansions should be done one at a time, step by step, neither too fast nor too slow. It's like boiling a frog in warm water. Once Xiaofan's second meridian expansion uses up all of his chips, then, during the third meridian expansion, it's very possible that he will lose 1,000 li in one go, his life force will decline. The beautiful middle-aged woman said. I understand. If Xiaofan squeezes out all of his potential during the second meridian expansion, then not only will he find it difficult to move forward during the third meridian expansion, he might even become exhausted. It's hard to advance even an inch, and it's even possible for one's mind and body to be exhausted. Their hair will turn white overnight, and they will grow old in an instant. The square-faced giant also nodded continuously. Humph. There must be a reason for this abnormality. What ability does Xiaofan have to be able to defy the heavens? He was just a competitive and stupid person who was intoxicated by his success. The second meridian expansion, forcefully burning his life force, I don't think that he will be able to expand his meridian for the third time. It's possible that during the third meridian expansion, he'll be terrified. 5 times, or even 1 or 2 times. If that happens, he'll be crippled. The giant that was trapped in Demon City said with a gloomy face. Forget it. Let's not talk about it for now. Just observe carefully. The Scholar of Eternity said straightforwardly. According to my estimation, Xiaofan's third meridian expansion will not exceed his second. He's a mortal after all, and it's impossible for him to have such a strong heart and accumulation. However, as long as the multiplier of his third meridian point expansion was the same as the first time, then Xiaofan would truly rise to power. Otherwise, it'll be a flash in the pan. Sky's Devil Old Man, Xiaofan's third meridian expansion is extremely crucial. I'm also worried that Xiaofan's second meridian expansion will be too ferocious and he'll use up all of his life's accumulation. After a brief moment of surprise, the black-haired old man calmed himself down. The third meridian expansion, either Xiaofan soars to the sky, or he stops here. Yes, it's too extreme. There can only be two results. The Sky's Devil Old Man nodded in agreement. Success or failure will depend on the third meridian expansion. Wuxia Pagoda. 100 times Room of Vigor. Xiaofan sat cross-legged, his body surrounded by light and mist. His face was expressionless, and he looked solemn. His whole body was glowing. Wang wang wang, the position of the 53rd meridian continued to squirm, emitting a soft hum. Is this the position of the 53rd meridian? As expected, in the 100 times Room of Vigor, he could clearly feel it. I, Xiaofan, have experienced many trials and tribulations to reach this day. My wisdom has grown, and I've gotten rid of the fear of death. I've tempered my spirit and tempered my will to become incomparably sharp, without any impurities. No amount of terror or pain can shake my heart. My, Xiaofan's, accumulation is rare in this world. In this plane, even the ancient giants, elders, and even the Tower Master couldn't reach my level when they were the same age as me. Alright, the 53rd meridian, explode. Ho! Xiaofan let out another ferocious roar, and his aura rose once again. White tiger leaves the forest. Azure dragon returns to the sea. Pooh! The 53rd meridian forcefully exploded. Suddenly, all the meridian in Xiaofan's body emitted an explosive sound. The sound was extremely violent, like a landslide and tsunami, like thousands of volcanoes erupting at the same time. It was like thousands of demons roaring together. Bang! Double the meridian. Bang! All the meridian in his body exploded again. Double the meridian. Bang! Another explosion. Space trembled. Triple the meridian. Bang! 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 Third expansion. When all the meridian in Xiaofan's body stabilized and no longer expanded, Xiaofan understood. He broke through the 53rd meridian, and the third expansion reached 80 times. The first expansion was 13 times. The second expansion was 50 times. The third expansion was 80 times. It accumulated to 143 times. Rising steadily. Never weakening. Outside the Wuxia Tower. In the plaza. The curtain of light floating in the void was constantly triggering true energy fluctuations and explosions. 80 consecutive explosions. The scene was eerily quiet. One could hear a pin drop. After an unknown period of time, he won. Xiaofan won. He broke history. He has completely broken history. One of the demon warriors screamed. Ha 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 ha. My cloud sex Xiaofan expanded his meridian 3 times and has accumulated to 143 times. Surpassing the ancients. I'm afraid there will be no one like him in the future. Ha 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 ha. Crow laughed hysterically. On the highest floor of the demon warrior tower. Xiaofan, he won. The scholar was in a daze. The third acupoint expansion is actually, even fiercer than the second. Immortal Ascension quality. This is the immortal grade. Compared to him, I am like a firefly competing with the moon. I am ashamed. To be continued. Chapter 397. Xiaofan opened the 53rd acupoint in one go, completing the third acupoint expansion. Moreover, Xiaofan did not burn his life potential in the process of the second acupoint expansion, as Xiaocai and the others had feared. On the contrary, the multiplier of the third acupoint expansion was even greater than the second. The third acupoint expansion was 80 times. At this moment, Xiaofan's body was free of dust and dirt. The abundant true qi turned into wind, dragon and tiger. His temperament was like that of a god descending to earth. My accumulation and potential are still enough for me to continue. Xiaofan began to sense the location of the 54th acupoint. However, at this moment, in the entire chivalrous region, countless chivalrous heroes were in a state of great shock, great excitement, and great confusion. In the void in the sky, there were 143 clear red circular patterns, representing Xiaofan's accumulated acupoint expansion of 143 times. In the history of the chivalrous world, the first person to expand acupoint by 16 times for the first time and 95 times for the cumulative acupoint expansion. Although Xiaofan's first time expanding acupoint by 13 times was a bit clumsy, his cumulative acupoint expansion had already surpassed the first person to expand acupoint in this realm. What was even more terrifying was that Xiaofan had only expanded his acupoint 3 times. He still had 7 chances to continuously break the record. What was even more terrifying was that Xiaofan's continuous expansion of acupoint expansion was in a state of gradual increase. Each time was fiercer than the last. There was no sign of decline. Then, what would happen next? The fortune of this realm. Xiaofan's strong rise will be the fortune of this realm. A yellow-clothed old man raised his hands. He looked up at the sky. Tears streamed down his face. It's Qiu Qiantai. Not far away. Crow looked at the yellow-clothed old man, frowned slightly, and said to the Heavenly Devil Old Man, this Qiu Qiantai is known as the #1 chivalrous hero of the great wilderness. On the chivalrous hero ranking, he is ranked 101. He is known as the #1 among the ancient giants. He has all kinds of methods. He is no weaker than the ancient giants who are ranked lower. He is a very difficult person to deal with. At this moment, in the square, many chivalrous heroes looked at Qiu Qiantai 143 times. Even if Xiaofan stopped here and didn't create any more miracles in the following meridians, this result alone was enough for him to build a solid foundation. Once his true qi transformed into true talismans, he could then set up talisman formations. Forge a magic treasure, open the eye of the heavens. He will become our plane. A leading figure of the new generation. Once he becomes an immortal, tsk, when a man achieves the Tao, even his chickens and dogs can ascend to heaven. Our plane of existence will also be blessed with glory. When that time comes, we can casually receive some immortal qi from the upper realm, and our plane of existence will give birth to immortals one after another. From now on, this plane of ours will change. It will flourish and prosper. Wiping out the demon race was just around the corner, and the unification of the human race could be realized. Ha ha ha. Qiu Qiantai burst into tears. Is that so? Senior Qiu, it seems that after the Tower Master and the elders come out of seclusion, they won't hold Xiaofan responsible for killing the evil heroes? A young evil hero standing beside Qiu Qiantai couldn't help but ask in a low voice. Punish my ass. Xiaofan will soon become the leading figure of our plane of existence. He will lead our plane of existence to a bright future. Who would dare to punish him? Killing one person is a crime, killing 10,000 is a hero, killing 1,000,000 is a hero among heroes. This is the Xiaofan we are talking about. Qiu Qiantai scolded sternly. On the highest floor of the evil hero tower. Now, this group of ancient giants were in a state of near insanity. I lost. The ancient giant who looked like a scholar said with a trembling voice. Defeated. 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 However, I am convinced of my defeat. Xiaohan's meridians are getting fiercer and more powerful each time. He is number one in our plane of existence, and he will definitely be outstanding in other planes. Good. I think the Tower Master and the Elders will be very pleased when they come out of seclusion. In our ordinary plane of existence, I am afraid that only one demon like Xiaofan will be born after countless eras. Alright, everyone sit down. Wait for Xiaofan to come out of seclusion. Once Xiaofan comes out of seclusion, we will immediately prepare a grand banquet to celebrate. The ancient giant said enthusiastically. The other ancient giants nodded their heads in agreement. The ancient giant who was previously trapped in the demon city by Xiaofan had a gloomy expression on his face. He sat there without saying a word. A hint of ruthlessness flashed across his eyes as his mind continued to calculate. Xiaofan, this little bastard, is really abnormal. His rise is unstoppable. However, there is already enmity between me and Xiaofan. With his personality, I am afraid that he will take the initiative to suppress me once he grows stronger. Otherwise, I will find a chance to get rid of him while he is still young. All kinds of sinister plots and schemes started to form in the ancient giant's mind. At the evil hero tower. 100 times spirit room. Suddenly, from Xiaohan's body, 53 five-pointed stars were emitted. Each of the five-pointed stars formed a world of its own, encompassing the universe, swallowing the 9 continents and containing a huge amount of true qi. With a slight thought from Xiaofan, numerous Zhenqi dragons, Zhenqi tigers, and Zhenqi cranes rushed out from every meridian in Xiaohan's body, releasing boundless power. Furthermore, the quality of the true qi was extraordinarily high. It was not something that Xiaofan could compare with before he reached the expanding acupoint realm. True qi. I, Xiaofan, have finally obtained a powerful true qi. With the support of his true qi divine art, the power of his attacks would be much more ferocious than the pure power of his fleshly body. There are thousands of ways to achieve the same goal. However, the cultivation of true qi is the true path. Only then can one become an immortal. Only then can one attain the Tao. With a powerful true qi, one can break the worldview of others and perform all kinds of unimaginable things. Flying through the air, controlling fire and water, lightning and golden rays. Their strength is boundless and boundless. It can even extend one's lifespan. At this moment, Xiaohan's every move was filled with an incomparable aura. In the next moment, the 54th acupoint, open. Proceed with the 4th acupoint expansion. The 54th acupoint was opened under Xiaohan's powerful mental strength, will, aura, and foundation. Accumulation. Under all kinds of impacts. It directly exploded. There was no suspense. Bang, 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 consecutive explosions. From within Xiaohan's body. A gust of wind rushed out, causing the entire mental house to shake. When the aftermath of the explosion stabilized, the 4th acupoint expansion, 120 times. The accumulated acupoint expansion. 263 times. Xiaohan once again gathered his mental strength, aura, and accumulated to break through the 55th acupoint. He was going to proceed with the 5th acupoint expansion. The glory he obtained from the previous 4 acupoints expansion. Xiaohan threw it to the back of his mind. At this moment, his state of mind was as calm as still water. There was not the slightest bit of arrogance or impetuosity. It was as if everything was just a matter of course. Boundless sacred light continuously shone on Xiaofan's body. Boom! The 55th acupoint exploded. Waves of true qi storms immediately swept across. Bang, 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 the 55th acupoint. They exploded together, forming a chaotic scene. But in an instant, they were reforged. After the reforging, the capacity of the new acupoint increased. Not only could it hold more true qi, but it also made Xiaofan's life form stronger. In the future, the path of true qi cultivation would be wider. I also understand a little. To expand acupoints more than ordinary people, there are 3 important points. The first is a strong flesh shell. This point, senior brother Xiao Mingchu has already told me in the past. And now, my flesh shell is as strong as a wild beast of the great wilderness. Just the strength of my flesh shell alone has 53 million ding, surpassing the pure strength of countless monsters' flesh shell. The second is the tempering and transformation of the mind, and it depends on the accumulation. In terms of accumulation, my accumulation is too huge and indescribable. The third is the mental strength. My mental strength is clear, pure, and untainted. I have comprehended the great success stage saber intent and can slash through nothingness. And I am a transmigrator with 2 souls. My mental strength is strong enough. I have fulfilled the 3 conditions that determine the expansion of acupoints. My expansion of acupoints is not something ordinary people can compare to. The 5th acupoint expansion, 180 times. The accumulated acupoint expansion, 443 times. Unprecedented, and no one in the future. Outside the Wuxia pagoda. The place was filled with madness and screams. Xiaofan has already accumulated the acupoint expansion by 443 times. Crazy, this is really crazy. Why is it like this? Why is it like this? Wuli was also excited to the point that he was in a mess. Sect Master. This disciple knows. It must be because junior brother Xiaofan's physical strength is ridiculously strong. The stronger the physical body, the more beneficial it is to expand acupoints. Xiao Mingchu said loudly. No. Not only is his physical body strong. Xiaofan must have experienced extremely dangerous things. He faced a desperate situation and came back from the dead. His mind has been tempered to become bright and flawless. What exactly did he experience? 2 months ago, he went to carry out a mission. What was that mission? Wuli said with a trembling voice. And on the top floor of the Demon Hero Pagoda, there was a group of ancient giants. Right now, they were already numb from the shock of Xiaofan breaking the record continuously. Each of them sat paralyzed with a dull look in their eyes. Demon Hero Pagoda. Spirit House. Demon God. You want to seize my body. How can I, Xiaofan, sit and wait for death? One day, I, Xiaofan, will kill you. Roar. Xiaofan's willpower was becoming more and more tenacious. During the process of expanding his acupoints, he actually developed a battle intent towards the demon god. This battle intent turned into a shockwave. All of a sudden, 56th true acupoint, open for me. Boom, the 6th acupoint expansion, 200 times. The accumulated acupoint expansion was 643 times. The 7th acupoint expansion, 260 times. The accumulated acupoint expansion was 903 times. The 7th acupoint expansion, 300 times. The accumulated acupoint expansion was 1203 times. The 8th acupoint expansion, 350 times. The accumulated acupoint expansion was 1553 times. The 9th acupoint expansion, 400 times. The accumulated acupoint expansion was 1953 times. The 10th acupoint expansion, the last acupoint expansion. Xiaofan's eyes were sharp. All of a sudden, his body was surrounded by endless saber light. The great accomplishment realm saber intent was directly unleashed. A wisp of natal saber chi wriggled like a dragon and kept jumping in the air, constantly teleporting. Xiaofan's mental strength had also condensed to an extreme point. After the 9th acupoint expansion, my accumulation is almost exhausted. The last acupoint expansion, I will use my natal saber chi to directly cut, 60th true acupoint. Open for me. Boom! With a thought from Xiaofan, that strand of natal saber chi was like a tornado, killing towards the 60th acupoint in his body. The speed of the natal saber chi was close to the speed of light. The vibration was so intense that even the heavens and earth resonated. The airflow in the spirit house rippled wildly. Where the natal saber chi vibrated, tornadoes appeared, piercing through the void and destroying all 6 paths. The last acupoint expansion. With his accumulation almost exhausted, he used his natal saber chi. All out. To be continued. Chapter 398. Today, in the book review section, a reader said that I made a mistake and had twice expanded the 7th acupoint. I took a look and found that it was true. Sorry, it was a mistake, so I have changed it back. 9 times, a total of 1,553 times. Minus the extra 400 times. It will not affect any reading. Monster Hero Pagoda. 100 times in the House of Vigor. Xiaofan expanded his acupoint. At this moment, Xiaofan had already successfully opened the 59th acupoint. He had completed 9 expansions, and the cumulative expansion had reached 1553 times. He was once the first person to expand his acupoint in this plane, but he had only expanded his acupoint by 95 times. Compared to Xiaofan's achievement, it was a complete loss. He was definitely a complete loss to Xiaofan. Despicable. The difference between the two was like heaven and earth. They were not on the same level. At this moment, Xiaofan was trying his best to open the 60th acupoint and complete the last expansion. However, after expanding his meridians 9 times in a row, he continued to climb higher and higher. Under the great pressure, his aura was like a rainbow, like a hot knife cutting through butter. However, it also exhausted all of Xiaofan's life's accumulation. Yes, Xiaofan's accumulation was indeed vigorous, but it could not withstand such a crazy consumption. Now, Xiaofan was slightly strained to open the 60th acupoint. But, Xiaofan still had his saber intent. His mental strength had been tempered to the point where it was free of dust and dirt. His mental strength had given birth to the great accomplishment saber chi. This saber intent was unparalleled. Moreover, it contained Xiaofan's heart. It also contained Xiaofan's feelings. At the same time, poo-poo it came from Xiaofan's soul. It burst forth from Xiaofan's soul. It was as if something had shattered. It's the 7-fragment saber technique. In a split second, Xiaofan had an epiphany. This desperate move to open the acupoint, the 7 emotions of the 7-fragment saber technique. Joy, anger, sorrow, joy, love, evil. 6 desires. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, will, all shattered. Clean and clean. All of a sudden, Xiaofan's natal saber chi emitted a bright and proud sound. Xiaofan's saber heart was illuminated. The entire House of Vigor was filled with dazzling saber light. Xiaofan's life force suddenly reached its peak. Now, Xiaofan's great accomplishment saber intent had completely stabilized. It was the best consolidation. It was flawless and without any flaws. It was like the bright sun in the clear sky, and it could be said to be perfect. After shattering the 7 emotions and 6 pleasures, Xiaochen casually chopped out with his saber, forgetting about the 7 emotions and 6 pleasures, forgetting about victory and defeat, forgetting about honor and disgrace. He poured out all his energy, battle intent, and saber intent in an instant, causing this saber strike to be flawless and pure. He had reached the realm of transcending mortality and entering holiness. It was extremely powerful. He could become a saint, could defy the heavens. Pu, the flawless natal saber chi directly struck the 60th acupoint in Xiaofan's body. Bang! Successful acupoint explosion. Hong! All of a sudden, Xiaofan's body exploded. A giant mushroom cloud, with Xiaofan's body as the center, swept out in all directions. The entire house of exorcism was filled with flying sand and stones. It was dim, lightless, and on the verge of collapse. Peng 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 peng, increase acupoints by 1-fold. Expand acupoints by 2 times. Expand the acupoints by 3 times. Consecutive explosions. The berserk chi surged and spun continuously, like many chi dragons crashing into the walls of the room. The walls of the house of exorcism were full of holes, and it was a scene of devastation. Moreover, the air in the house of exorcism collapsed, disappeared, and evaporated from the explosions. The power was unparalleled. The sounds of explosions were endless, indicating that Xiaofan's last acupoint expansion was still going strong. 100 times. 200 times. 300 times. Extreme madness. Outside the Wuxia pagoda. The light screen hovering in the air was also constantly emitting waves of true energy and explosions. Every explosion left a red circular pattern in the air. Now, the entire light screen was densely packed with countless red circular patterns. Countless Wuxia in the Wuxia region had a nervous breakdown. They counted in unison as if they had lost their minds. 497 times 498 times 499 times 500 times, their voices were uniform. All the Wuxia seemed to be possessed. On the highest floor of the Wuxia pagoda. Roar! Xiaofan's 10th acupoint expansion actually directly increased by hundreds of times. Unbelievable. A miracle. The reincarnation of an immortal. He must be the reincarnation of an immortal. 609,610,611, the scholar-like giant of all ages had also completely gone mad. Wuxia pagoda. 100 times in the house of exorcism. Bang! The last explosion was completed. Xiaofan's entire body's aura gradually retracted. The 60 true acupoints gradually stabilized. 1,000 times. The last acupoint expansion, my saber intent is approaching perfection. My heart, battle intent, and saber intent, the combination of the 3 has pushed my entire aura to the peak. As a result, my 10th acupoint expansion has reached 1,000 times. Xiaofan himself felt as if he was in a dream. The 10th acupoint expansion is over, and my expanding acupoint realm is officially over. The accumulated 10 times of acupoint expansion is 2,553 times. At this moment, the 51st to 60th true acupoint had already been bombarded by Xiaofan, allowing him to complete his cultivation in the expanding acupoint realm. He had also completed a total of 10 acupoints expansion. From the aspect of cultivating true chi, completing 10 acupoints expansion meant that he had entered the next level. In the cultivation of true chi, he had taken the most important step. From then on, Xiaofan could be considered as a true chi expert. Endless trials. Endless opportunities, endless transformations on the line between life and death, courageously advancing, dominating the world, crushing everything. This allowed Xiaofan to finally perfect his acupoint expansion. The current Xiaofan no longer doubted his own cultivation in the aspect of true chi. Before this, Xiaofan was only strong in the flesh. His demonic techniques were strong, but his true chi cultivation was a mess. But now, the accumulated 10 times of acupoint expansion had reached a monstrous 2,553 times. He was already the fully deserving number one in this realm. One must know that the more acupoint expansion, the more stable one's foundation was. In the future, the Talisman Formation Realm, the Talisman Formation Realm. The True Treasure Realm required the foundation of the acupoint expansion. The more acupoint expansion, the better. The greater one's achievements in the future. The current giant of all ages, who was ranked third on the Monster Hero ranking board, had only created a history of 95 times of acupoint expansion. This allowed him to achieve the glorious achievements he had today, reaching the peak of the human realm and becoming a minister of the people. Xiaofan's acupoint expansion far exceeded this giant of all ages. One could imagine how monstrous Xiaofan's achievements would be in the future. It was indeed possible for him to become a celestial. However, after the 10 times of acupoint expansion, Xiaofan felt like he had been squeezed dry. His entire body was exhausted, and he couldn't help but lie on the ground. However, the corner of his mouth curled into a relieved smile. Good, good, all the trials and tribulations before this weren't for nothing. Everything was worth it. Xiaofan silently examined himself, and discovered that each of his true meridians had formed their own space, forming a minor world, a palace, an ocean, a sky, and a land. His mind wave casually swept into one of the acupoints, and he saw that there was a door outside the acupoint. This door seemed to be 1,000 feet tall, reaching into the clouds. It was embedded in his body, and it was completely transparent, as if it was made of crystal, but it was very sturdy. Within the door, there seemed to be a celestial cave abode. One acupoint, one world. It could contain a huge amount of true qi. Summoning the wind and summoning the rain. Currently, Xiaofan had opened 60 acupoints in his body, and under the premise of not expanding acupoints, each acupoint could hold 1,000 ding of force. His pure Jinqi strength was 60,000 ding. Now that his acupoints had been expanded 2,553 times, Xiaofan's pure Jinqi strength had reached a terrifying 150 million ding. Even Xiaofan himself was a little frightened by this power. Shengguan Wudi had once analyzed the combat strength of the various stages of the Jinqi realm to Xiaofan. For example, after Shengguan Wudi had expanded his acupoints 10 times, his pure Jinqi strength was only 4 to 5 million ding. In other words, when Shengguan Wudi was at the pinnacle of the acupoint expansion realm, if he were to encounter the current Xiaofan, even without using his physical strength or demonic techniques, Xiaofan could still crush Shengguan Wudi with just his Jinqi. After Shengguan Wudi entered the talisman shaping realm, he had 10 chances to cleanse his true talisman, and increase the quality of his Jinqi strength by several times. After 10 times of cleansing his true talisman, Shengguan Wudi's Jinqi quality had increased by 81 times, allowing his pure Jinqi strength to reach 400 to 500 million ding. Currently, Xiaofan was at the pinnacle of the acupoint expansion realm, and his Jinqi had yet to transform into talismans. Thus, his pure Jinqi strength was still unable to match up to some talisman-shaping realm pinnacle experts. However, once Xiaofan started to transform his Jinqi into true talismans, it would be a different story. So, the acupoint expansion realm is just a foundation for the talisman-shaping realm, Xiaofan understood. Even if I expand my acupoints by several thousand times, would only be able to unleash less than 200 million ding of pure Jinqi strength. Thus, Xiaofan needed to transform his Jinqi into true talismans. Once he transformed his Jinqi into true talismans, even if Xiaofan's result was the same as Shengguan Wudi's 10 times of cleansing his true talismans and increasing the quality of his Jinqi by 81 times, Xiaofan would still be able to unleash 1 billion ding of pure Jinqi strength. To possess such strength at the talisman-shaping realm, what kind of concept was that? After Shengguan Wudi reached the true treasure realm, even if he were to drive all of his Jinqi and augment it with the Yin-Yang Destruction Great Jinqi, he would only be able to unleash a maximum offensive strength of 10 billion ding. On the other hand, Xiaofan possessed 12.1 billion ding of pure Jinqi strength at the talisman-shaping realm. Even if he were to augment it with a trashy Jinqi divine art, he would be able to defeat Shengguan Wudi, who was at the true treasure realm. A talisman-shaping realm cultivator defeating a true treasure realm cultivator. This was the benefit of having a strong foundation when expanding one's acupoints. Furthermore, Xiaofan was only using Shengguan Wudi's results when he was at the talisman-shaping realm. If Xiaofan could be as monstrous as the acupoint expansion realm when he was still at the talisman-shaping realm, raising the quality of his Jinqi by 1,000 times, then, he would be able to sweep through this plane with just a flip of his hand. Like picking up grass. The acupoint expansion realm is still a foundation. Right now, my foundation is very solid, but to convert this foundation into fighting prowess, I still have to reach the talisman-shaping realm. It won't be easy for me to achieve the same results as when I was at the acupoint expanding realm. That's because my accumulation has already been depleted during the 10 times of expanding my acupoints. I have to accumulate again. However, it won't be easy to accumulate the same amount as when I was at the acupoint expanding realm. Do I have to make another trip to the demon metropolis and fight against those demon emperors again? Xiaofan laughed involuntarily. Now. His starting point was too high, and it was very difficult to surpass himself. He had to accumulate more than before. Forget it, I don't care so much. Xiaofan was now seriously exhausted. His eyelids were heavy, and he just wanted to sleep. I've won the bet. I'm sure those ancient authorities won't make things difficult for me or hold me accountable for killing the demon hero. Phew. I just want to return to the Pure Cloud sect and have a good rest. Xiaofan was overwhelmed by fatigue. Outside the demon hero pagoda. In the square, 1,000 times. Xiaofan's 10th acupoint expansion actually expanded it 1,000 times. The accumulated acupoint expansion reached 2,553 times. The gods have descended. The gods have descended. The entire demon hero region was completely ignited. In every corner of the Wuxia domain, there was a huge uproar. Immediately, Immortal descending, reincarnation of Immortal, God descending. These titles were given to Xiaofan by many demon heroes. On the highest level of the demon hero tower. Xiaofan. We must nurture him. We have to nurture him at all costs. This is a talent. A heaven-defying talent. In the future, it will affect the rise and fall of our plane. Before this, all the mistakes that Xiaofan has made will be erased. No one is allowed to make things difficult for Xiaofan. The ancient scholar howled at the top of his lungs. To be continued. Chapter 399. Xiaofan sat cross-legged in the spirit house to recuperate. Not long after, the drowsiness were gradually dispelled. Xiaofan let out a breath of turbid air and stood up. He opened the spirit house and walked out. Xiaofan. The senior demon warrior who controlled this floor, the stunning beauty Elaine, stood at the door and looked at Xiaofan in shock. You're out of seclusion, yes. Thank you for lending this spirit house to Xiaofan, Senior Elaine, Xiaofan said humbly. Xiaofan, you don't have to thank me. Elaine paused for a moment, then quickly said. Xiaofan, congratulations. You've become the most talented person in the demon warrior world in our plane. No one in this world can compete with you. Unknowingly, Elaine's attitude towards Xiaofan was mixed with respect. It was almost a subconscious attitude. This made Xiaofan feel slightly embarrassed. Oh right, Xiaofan, a few ancient giants would like to see you, Elaine continued. This. Xiaofan frowned slightly, then smiled calmly. Senior Elaine, I've spent too much energy in seclusion this time. Now, I'm exhausted and exhausted. This. Xiaofan, what do you mean? Elaine smiled and looked at Xiaofan patiently. How about this, I'll go see those ancient giants. However, I won't stay in the Demon Warrior Tower for long. I'll return to the Cloud sect as soon as possible. Xiaofan took a deep breath, a strong yearning appeared in his eyes. I want to go home, and rest well. The Cloud sect is the best medicine for me to comfort my tired soul. Yes, Xiaofan. I understand what you mean. I'll arrange it for you. Elaine nodded solemnly. Oh right. Xiaofan. I'll send a message to the sect master of the Crow sect. They're outside the Demon Warrior Tower right now. Thank you, Senior Elaine. Xiaofan was overjoyed. I haven't seen the sect master for a long time. I really miss the sect master and my senior brothers. The highest level of the Demon Warrior Tower. Xiaofan was surrounded by a group of ancient giants. They were the stars surrounding the moon. Ha ha ha. Xiaofan. You're really something. Your talent has won me over. The elementary scholar said to Xiaofan in a natural and unrestrained manner. Congratulations, congratulations. Xiaofan, you've broken my record for expanding acupoints. This is the fortune of our plane. However, I'm afraid that the future generations will want to break this new record that you've created. That would be extremely difficult. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. The group of ancient powerhouses also burst into laughter. The current Xiaofan seemed to be on equal footing with these ancient giants. That's right, Xiaofan has great potential. Once he reached the talisman shaping realm or talisman formation realm, it would not be impossible for him to defeat these ancient giants. Moreover, when Xiaofan himself became an ancient giant, he would probably shatter the void. He had ascended to the heavens. Xiaofan was neither servile nor overbearing. Seniors, please don't overestimate Xiaofan. Expanded acupoint realm. He was just laying the foundation. Xiaofan knew this very well. Therefore, Xiaofan will not become complacent just because of this little achievement. All right. Xiaofan, you're neither arrogant nor rash. This is much better than us. I've heard that in the past, people said that you're a vile person. Now it seems, you're not a vile person. You're very open-minded. Very good. The elementary scholar said solemnly. Yes, Xiaofan, the expanded acupoint realm is laying the foundation. Strictly speaking, the expanded acupoint realm is not battle power. The record you've created in the expanded acupoint realm is too glorious. This made your starting point much higher than the rest of us. In the future, your cultivation will be to constantly challenge yourself, defeat yourself, refresh yourself, and constantly defy the heavens. The path of cultivation is like rowing a boat against the current. If you don't advance, you'll fall behind. You indeed need to work harder and accumulate your strength. You need to make the most perfect accumulation for transforming true essence into talismans. You must not slack off. However, Xiaofan, it will be more difficult for you to accumulate for the talisman shaping realm. The other primordial ancient overlord nodded in agreement. Xiaofan, ordinary training and experience won't be able to change your mind anymore. Xiaofan, your talisman shaping realm will be very difficult. More difficult than us. Yes, if the starting point was too high and the achievements were too glorious, it would be extremely harsh on cultivation. It would not be easy to improve to the next level. Simply put, Xiaofan's starting point was much higher than the rest of the ancient giants present. It would be many times more difficult for him to break through than the rest of the ancient giants. Xiaofan, don't worry. Our Wuxia pagoda will do our best to nurture you. As for how to nurture you, we'll have to wait until the pagoda master and the elders come out of seclusion. The elementary scholar said. I believe the pagoda master and the elders will be overjoyed when they find out about your glory. Ha ha ha. Let's have a big date. Xiaofan laughed dryly. However, he did not think much of it. It was not like Xiaofan had never seen the pagoda master's face. This time, it is said that there is a message from the immortal world. This is a very rare occurrence in our plane. I wonder if there will be any fortuitous encounter. The elementary scholar frowned. However, Xiaofan, don't worry. If there is something good, you will definitely get it. I hope so, Xiaofan said calmly. Right now, Xiaohan's greatest worry was that the immortal world would find out that he had the demon god's egg, and they would put him on the wanted list. Alright, Xiaofan, if you want to return to the Pure Cloud sect, then go. We won't hold you back either. The scholar laughed. Xiao, a white cloud flew out of the Devil Hero domain at an extremely fast speed. Above the clouds, Wu ***, Xiao Mingchu, the heavenly devil old man, Fatty Zhu, Xiao Mingchu, Dongfang Qin, and Fang Ling surrounded Xiaohan. Ha 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 ha. Junior brother Xiaohan, you're really amazing, too amazing. I never thought that you would achieve such glorious achievements. Xiao Mingchu hugged Xiaohan's shoulders and praised him endlessly. Xiaohan, you've brought glory to the sect. Our sect's face will also be glorified. Crow laughed as he looked at Xiaohan. Crow also knew that Xiaohan definitely had many secrets that no one knew about, especially the special mission that he had completed in the past 2 months. It must be extraordinary. However, he did not question him immediately. The heavenly demon old man and big fatty Zhu. He nodded repeatedly as well. Bringing glory to the sect. That's a disciple's duty. Xiaohan quickly said. Xiaohan still had a lot of feelings for the Pure Cloud sect. Junior brother Xiaohan, why don't you stay in the Devil Hero Pagoda and rush back to the Pure Cloud mountain range? Are you missing your 2 little wives? Dongfang Qin said with a faint smile. This. Xiaohan was a little embarrassed. However, the beautiful figures of Jing Yanxue and Lan Shirong flashed across his mind. A longing smile appeared on Xiaohan's face, and he was no longer bashful. He said generously. I do miss them very much. Xiaohan, you're so talented that you're the best in the world. There's a popular saying in the Devil Hero domain now. Fang Ling also winked at Xiaohan. Senior brother Fang Ling, what saying? Xiaohan asked with a smile. They say that you're the reincarnation of an immortal. Otherwise, it's impossible for you to expand your meridians so crazily. Each time, it's fiercer than the last time. Especially the last time, it directly expanded to 1,000 times. Fang Ling laughed. Even I think so, mortal. Mortal, it's impossible for me to be as monstrous as you. But I'm a mortal. Xiaohan laughed involuntarily. What immortal's reincarnation? That's utter nonsense. Xiaohan. You really don't believe it. The Heaven's Devil old man also joked. In the past, I've read some unofficial history. There are indeed records. Some immortals will descend from the immortal world and possess the body of an ordinary mortal. Then, they wander the mortal world and leave behind descendants. This is the reincarnation of an immortal. What's even more bizarre is that I've seen a small story. It said that a meteor entered the body of a female disciple of a sect while she was cultivating, causing her, who was a virgin, to inexplicably give birth to a son. This is the so-called descent of a god. What is this? Xiaohan was extremely speechless. I, Xiaohan, am definitely not the reincarnation of an immortal. There's no such thing. Ha ha ha, Xiaohan, it doesn't matter if this is true or not. Hurry back and have sex with your 2 little wives. With your monstrous talent, you can give birth to children, and all of them will inherit your perfect genes. From then on, this plane will have a large group of geniuses. Ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. Wu Li and the others also laughed in agreement. At the top of the Demon Hero Tower, the 13 spirit storms were having a serious discussion. Naturally, they didn't know what had happened in the outside world, such as Xiaofan returning to the Demon Hero region alive and creating the history of the expanding Meridian realm. They were discussing the candidates to enter the Genius Zone. Genius Zone. In the history of the immortal world, the third-ranked Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao, left behind some special restrictions on the outermost layer. At the same time, there were also a large number of immortal treasures. There were even countless immortal pills, immortal chi, and immortal technique manuals. This Genius Zone had strict requirements for those who entered. 1. Immortals who entered would die too. Those who were over 10,000 years old would die. In addition, the immortal world didn't just send a message to Xiaohan's plane about Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure. This message had been sent to countless ordinary planes. This meant that there would be an endless number of peerless demons from various planes who met the requirements to enter the Genius Zone to search for treasures. This meant that there would be an extremely cruel competition. The immortal world also wanted to use the human beings from ordinary planes to open the Genius Zone. This was because there were more than one layer of barriers to Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure. However, the outermost layer, the Genius Zone, did not allow immortals to enter. There might not be such a requirement for the deeper layers. Of course, once the Genius Zone was opened, if immortals were allowed to enter the next layer, then the demons from ordinary planes would lose their value and would no longer have any chance to continue searching for treasures. Therefore, if the demons from ordinary planes wanted to obtain treasures, there was almost only one chance: the Genius Zone. The voice of the Pagoda Master rumbled, "Alright, after discussion and selection, we've finally selected the candidates to enter the Genius Zone. Now, we'll prepare to exit seclusion. Before exiting seclusion, send a private message about Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure and the Genius Zone to every ancient giant. However, tell them to keep it a secret. After that, send a private message to every demon that has passed our selection and meets the requirements to enter the Genius Zone. Tell them to prepare." "Yes, Pagoda Master." "Pagoda Master, I'm sure that the higher echelons of the human race from other planes have already decided on their candidates like us. Just thinking about it makes me excited. I don't know if the chivalrous heroes of other planes are stronger or weaker than ours. There's no need to guess. Soon, the immortal world will release the spatial coordinates of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure and guide us to explore it. At that time, the demons from our plane will start a competition with the demons from other planes." The voice of the Pagoda Master also contained uncontrollable trembling and excitement. To be continued. Chapter 400. The highest floor of the Devil Hero Pagoda. The Pagoda Master and the elders were still sorting out and arranging the candidates to enter the Genius Zone. Alright, the candidates have been decided. First, they have to be under 10,000 years old. After that, we won't consider those below the Talisman Transformation stage. If they don't reach the Talisman Transformation stage, they'll just be courting death, the Pagoda Master said. Then, Pagoda Master, I'll repeat the candidates, an elder said respectfully. Alright, the Pagoda Master snorted. After sorting and screening, there are 102 people who meet the requirements to enter the Genius Zone in our Devil Hero world, the elder said solemnly. The elder said solemnly, among them, the one who has the highest chance of winning glory for our realm in the Genius Zone and bringing back celestial treasures is Yan Qi, an ancient powerhouse ranked 77th on the Devilman ranking. Tower Master, this Yan Qi is the brightest star in our realm of the monster warriors. His actual age is only over 9,000 years old, but he's already in the ranks of the ancient giants. He's younger than many of the ancient giants. At the true treasure stage, one's true chi can transform into a celestial treasure. A casual attack from him has the power to destroy heaven and earth. Tower Master, although Yan Qi's ranking isn't too high among the ancient era's powerhouses, he's indeed the youngest. There's a chance for him to obtain a celestial treasure in the Genius Zone, another elder said with a smile. Yes, I think highly of Yan Qi. He's the only true treasure stage expert we've selected, the Pagoda Master said with certainty. Yan Qi. He must enter the Genius Zone. Pagoda Master. Apart from Yan Qi. As for the remaining 101 places, they will all be chosen from the ancient giants, the elder continued. Among the 101 ancient giants, 95 are at the 7th level talisman transformation stage and 6 are at the 8th level talisman formation stage. After pausing for a moment, the elder regretfully said. This is our realm's strongest lineup under 10,000 years old. Unfortunately, there are some ancient giants who are powerful. However, they've just passed 10,000 years old and lost this rare opportunity. 102 ancient giants. 1 ancient giant. 101 ancient giants. In terms of realms, there was 1 true treasure realm, 6 talisman formation realm, and 95 talisman shaping realm. After a moment of silence, an elder said hesitantly. Tower Master, isn't the lineup of our plane a little thin? It's fine, the Pagoda Master said. It's already not bad to be able to select 102 people to enter the Genius Zone. Perhaps the other planes won't be able to select so many candidates. That's true. Private message now. He passed the news to all the ancient powerhouses and the 102 candidates. After sending the message, we have come out of seclusion. Also, gather the candidates who will enter the Genius Zone and ask them to come to the Wuxia Tower in secret to discuss this important matter. The Tower Master ordered. In this vast universe, there was a distinction between the upper and lower realms. The upper realm was a high-level space that was occupied by human immortals and high-level demons. Both sides were equally matched. As for the lower realms, there were billions upon billions of them. They were like the eternal sands of the universe, like sesame seeds or mung beans. The distance between an ordinary plane and an adjacent ordinary plane was extremely far. One had to traverse the vast expanse of time and space to reach it. Moreover, there were all sorts of destructive energies in the vast expanse of time and space, such as peck wind, black lightning, blue fire, sky fire, black hole, spatial fragments, meteor flows. Ordinary humans and demons with slightly lower cultivation bases did not dare to fly in the vast expanse of space. Moreover, in an unstable space, one could not teleport. Moreover, it was extremely easy to lose one's direction when traveling blindly in space. Then, one would fall in the universe and become a speck of dust. Therefore, very few living beings could travel from one plane to another. As a matter of fact, it wasn't impossible. For example, in the plane that Xiaofan was in, the Wuxia leader, the Pagoda Master, should have the ability to travel to the nearest neighboring plane. But, he did not dare to. First, to successfully travel to the nearest neighboring plane, the consumption was too great. The consumption of time, energy, and vital energy was extremely frightening. Secondly, there were unknown dangers in other planes. Not only could they be attacked by the demon clan from other planes, but they could also be seen as invaders by the human clan from other planes. The Tower Master had also attempted to travel through the universe to other planes. However, he had given up on this grand journey a few months after he set off and returned in low spirits. Even so, every living being in an ordinary plane knew that there must be other living beings like them in the universe. This was a plane shaped like a planet. It was mainly dark red in color and emitted a scorching heat that could burn mountains and boil seas. The light around this plane was extremely distorted. However, the spirit chi of heaven and earth was extremely abundant in this plane. There were some crystal-like objects floating in the air. They were crystals formed by highly condensed spiritual chi. If humans used them to cultivate spiritual chi, they would be able to achieve twice the result with half the effort. The effect was many times better than ordinary spiritual chi of heaven and earth. In the center of this plain stood a tower-shaped building that was tens of thousands of feet tall. Ancient. Mysterious. Great. It was the Wuxia Pagoda. Around the Wuxia Pagoda, there were many flaming mountains floating in the air. At this moment, a figure with waist-length crimson hair was floating in the air. His entire body was faintly bathed in flames. He was 7 to 8 meters tall. Beside him stood many powerful human vital energy cultivators. Faint immortal chi was enshrouding them. And under his feet, on the red ground, there were thousands of powerful human vital energy cultivators kneeling. Everyone. You are all the most talented young people in this plane. You are all under 10,000 years old. However, although you are young, many of you have reached the Talisman Formation realm and the True Treasure realm. Some of them have even stepped into the Celestial Eye realm. That person's hair was scarlet red. The crimson-haired giant bathed in boiling flames. He let out a thunderous voice. As he breathed, runes intertwined and rumbled. The majestic voice reverberated in the ears of the thousands of human vital energy cultivators kneeling on the ground. The demons in this plane are about to be completely wiped out by us demons. Wiping out the demons is no longer the goal of this plane. Now, we must pursue immortal fate. Yes, we humans have cultivated to the highest realm. We can become immortals. We can ascend. However, we lack opportunities. And now, the opportunity is here. In the history of the immortal world, the third-ranked immortal Emperor Zhu Dao left behind treasures. At the outermost layer of the treasures, there are restrictions set up. Immortals cannot enter. This gives us a chance. The Genius Zone. That is the so-called Genius Zone. Immortal treasures are piled up like mountains. Ha 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 ha, the giant in the flames was like a god. He let out a wild laughter that shook the heavens. Countless ordinary planes, human heroes under the age of 10,000 years old. They will all enter the Genius Zone and carry out the cruelest competition. And I believe our plane will be the final winner. The final winner. Ha ha ha. Young demons, are you ready? This is the chance to become immortal. I hope you will not disappoint me. Yes, Tower Master. More than 1,000 strong human true chi cultivators all raised their heads and roared. Their eyes were full of fighting spirit and crazy confidence. Tower Master, please be at ease. We will definitely crush those overconfident fellows from other planes. You are entrusted with the hope and glory of our plane. A deep and hoarse voice rang out. On the peak of a giant mountain range that was as black as a dragon and stretched for millions of miles, a tall and burly man stood there. His entire body was covered in black scale armor, and he was dozens of feet tall. The space around him froze. In the mountains, a large number of human true chi cultivators prostrated themselves. All of their expressions were very respectful. Just by standing there, the huge man in black scale armor emitted an aura that made people's hearts tremble. Go, fight for glory. Also fight for the survival of our plane. In our plane, the demon race is powerful while the human race is weak. Many fertile lands have been occupied by the demon race. Magnificent rivers and mountains have been reduced to demon lands. Now, the 81 warriors that I have selected will shoulder the future of our plane. Go. Enter the Genius Zone. Obtain fortuitous encounters. Obtain immortal fate. Use your lives to defend your dignity. Become strong. Strong enough to expel and kill all the demons in this plane. The giant man in black scale armor had an aura like that of a god that split the heavens and earth. Between his eyebrows, there was dignity and determination. Yes, Tower Master. Fight for the plane. Fight for survival and reproduction. We, the demon heroes, will not shrink from a fight. The 81 demon heroes stood up resolutely. Competitors from other planes, get out of the way. Whoever dares to stop us from obtaining the immortal treasure will die. On a green planet, the whole planet was lush with plants. Naga, you are the most dazzling young man in our plane. When you were in the Meridian Expansion realm, you completed 10 times of Meridian Expansion and accumulated a glorious achievement of 2,000 times. And now, you have reached the peak of the Talisman Transformation realm. You have refined the talisman 10 times and increased the quality of your true chi by 1,000 times. In our plane, among the human race cultivators of the same age, you are the strongest. And you are only 3,400 years old now. You are too young. Perhaps, among the human race demon heroes of the same age in other planes, you will be an invincible existence. This time, I will let you enter the genius zone to search for immortal fate. You must not disappoint me. This time, you will enter the genius zone and compete with the human race demon heroes of other planes. What you will fight for is not only treasures, but also fate. Do you understand, Naga? A bald old man in a white robe said slowly. On his forehead, there was a black eyeball that emitted a whirlpool-like power, as if it wanted to swallow the whole world. Beside him, there was a chestnut-haired young man in hemp clothes with a sword on his back. His expression was extremely cold. Suddenly, around this old man in a white robe and the chestnut-haired young man in hemp clothes, many ferocious and terrifying demons appeared. Demon chi soared to the sky. Naga, these are 1,000 ultimate variant demon emperors. I used my divine ability to capture them from the demon capital. Now, I want you to kill all of these 1,000 ultimate variant demon emperors within 30 breaths. Can you do it? Tisk, the corner of the chestnut-haired young man's mouth twitched disdainfully. In the next moment, a blood-red sword light lit up. The figure of the chestnut-haired young man suddenly became blurry and almost disappeared. Puff! 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 Immediately after, the sword light spread out like a tide. Demon blood splattered everywhere. In an extremely short period of time, a total of 1,000 ultimate variant demon emperors were all killed. One by one, their demon bodies were cut into pieces by the sword light. 25 breaths. The chestnut-haired young man in hemp clothes smiled coldly. Ha 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 ha. Good. Naga, get ready to enter the genius zone. Ha 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 ha. Bring back some immortal pills for me. The old man in white robe laughed with satisfaction. Your great accomplishment sword intent is already perfect and impeccable. It can kill any existence that tries to provoke you. Ha ha ha. Dong 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 dong, a shirtless big man ran quickly with bare feet. In front of him, the tip of a tall tower could be vaguely seen. The big man suddenly stopped. Under the sky full of sunlight, the corner of his mouth twitched arrogantly. The tower master sent me a message, saying that there is some immortal cave abode, asking me to explore. Good, very good, genius zone. Hee, sounds pretty good. Dong 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 dong, the big man continued to run. Behind him, there was a mountain of demon emperor corpses. In a plain with a vast area. There was not a bit of demon chi in this plain. The sky was blue and clear. The human race lived in peace and contentment. As early as 100,000 years ago, all the demon race in this plane had been killed by the demon warriors of the human race. Extinct. A continuous mountain range rose and fell. On a towering mountain peak, there was an ancient palace built on it. The entire surface of the palace wall was covered with all kinds of complicated carvings. In the main hall of the palace, on the throne, there was a purple-eyed man wearing a bright white robe. His eyes seemed to be looking from another space, making people's hearts palpitate and collapse. On both sides below him, there were hundreds of indescribably powerful creatures of the human race. Each of them faintly emitted a fluctuation that made the heaven and earth tremble, as if they could tear the heaven and earth apart with just a raise of their hands. Tower Master, our plane has achieved the great unification of the human race for 100,000 years. We are a relatively strong plane among the many ordinary planes. In the history, a total of 12 immortals have broken the void and ascended from our plane. But now, the immortal chi of our plane is almost exhausted. Therefore, we have lost the chance to condense the immortal body and ascend to the immortal world. A red-robed middle-aged man reported to the white-robed man with purple eyes. Yes, the resources have been exhausted by the sages. So we can't condense the immortal body for a long time. I also gradually feel that my life is approaching the end. Although I'm called immortal, it doesn't mean I won't die. Unless I can condense the immortal body, become an immortal, and ascend to the immortal world, then become immortal. If I don't become an immortal, there's no need to talk about anything. My soul will shatter and turn into powder. There was a hint of loneliness in the white-robed man's eyes. But very quickly, his eyes burned with a crazy excitement. Now's our chance. There are endless immortal pills in the genius zone that can help us all become immortals. Ha 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 ha. It's time for our warriors to prepare to enter the genius zone. Ha 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 ha. The humans of other planes are lowly. No plane can compete with the geniuses of our plane. None. The white-robed man with purple eyes let out an enraged roar. An invisible aura burst out from his body, melting the surrounding space into nothingness. Any living being that stands in our way will be destroyed. If anyone dares to jump out, I'll destroy their plane. His maniacal roar reverberated across the vast plain. To be continued. Chapter 401. The cloud that was as white as cotton floated in the sky. Its speed seemed slow, but it was actually extremely fast. Xiaofan stood on top of the cloud and looked down at the mountains and rivers. He was in a good mood. A warm feeling of returning home welled up in his heart. At this moment, Xiaofan was like a prodigal son who had been traveling in a foreign country for many years. He was finally returning to his gentle and clean home. What awaited him was a beautiful wife. Everything was perfect. The only flaw was that Xiao Yunrong was still missing. This left a shadow in Xiaohan's heart. Wu Yu, Xiao Mingchu, and the others were in a good mood as well. They spoke freely along the way. What made Xiaohan very happy was that his sect leader and senior brothers did not have a generation gap with him because of the monstrous talent he showed when he expanded his meridian points. The sect leader was still the sect leader. His eldest senior brother was still the eldest senior brother. His senior brother Dongfang and Fang Ling's attitude towards him was the same as before. When Xiaohan looked at the sect leader and his senior brothers, a feeling of kinship arose in his heart. We're almost at the Unity Mountain range. Xiaohan closed his eyes in extreme comfort, a greedy expression on his face. I seem to smell the unforgettable scent of the Unity Mountain range. The mountains, the water, the flowers, the trees, ha 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 ha. Seeing Xiaohan's expression, Wu Yu and the others could not help but laugh. Moreover, they could clearly feel that Xiaohan did not change at all. At least in front of them, he was still the simple, young Xiaohan from before. Xiaohan, how do you plan to cultivate after we return to the sect? Wu Yu slightly withdrew his smile. Your current talent is very terrifying. Once you transform your true qi into a true talisman, your terrifying accumulation in the meridian expansion stage will transform it into your combat strength. This is no small matter. Yes, junior brother Xiaohan, once you enter the talisman transformation stage, you'll reach the heavens in one step. You'll definitely reach the heavens in one step. Xiao Mingchu said seriously. Junior brother Xiaohan, my current true qi cultivation is at the level 8 talisman formation stage. However, if you enter the talisman formation stage, you will be able to enter the talisman formation stage. However, if you enter the talisman transformation stage, I'm afraid I won't be your match. You're exaggerating, senior brother, Xiaofan hurriedly said humbly. Soon after, he said with a faint smile. Master, after I return to the sect, I'll need to rest and recuperate. I'll relax to my heart's content and go sightseeing. That's not bad. Wu Yu nodded. Xiaofan, 10 times. You've also used up a lot of energy. I do need some time to recuperate. Xiaofan laughed, sect leader. Disciples' achievement of expanding acupoints may seem glorious, but it has also set up obstacles for my future cultivation. Now that I want to break through, I naturally have to rise with the tide. It's not that easy. This disciple is also worried that I won't be able to obtain better tempering from now on. My temperament and potential will be restricted from then on, and it will be difficult for me to improve. Wu Li nodded thoughtfully and then said in a low voice. Xiaofan, if I'm not wrong, before you expanded your meridians, you must have accumulated a heaven-defying amount of energy. What did you do? This. Xiaofan hesitated for a moment, but still spoke bluntly. Disciple went to the demon capital. What? As soon as he said this, Wu Liuyu, the heaven's devil old man, Fatty Zhu, Xiao Mingchu, Dongfang Qin, and Fang Ling all jumped up. Their faces were filled with disbelief as they stared at Xiaofan like statues. You actually went to the demon capital. The higher-ups of the demon hero pagoda actually arranged for you to go to the demon capital? The demon capital is our plane, the nest of the demon race. The human race's ancient giants, even the Tower Master, don't dare to enter. Going there means death. Xiaofan, you actually went and returned. Wu Li was moved. This. Sect leader, you're calm, Xiaofan said with a bitter smile. As for what I went to the demon capital for, it's not convenient for me to say it clearly. In short, I killed some ultimate variant demon emperors and even confronted the 10 great demon emperors of the demon race. Yes, the accumulation I needed to expand my acupoints were all obtained in the demon capital. That's why I said that it's not so easy to accumulate and break through to the talisman transformation realm now. Do I have to go to the demon capital again? Try to kill a few demon emperors? Xiaofan was also speechless. If he didn't go to the demon capital, Xiaofan would probably not be able to accumulate anything to help him break through to the talisman transformation realm. Forget it, sect leader, senior brothers, senior heavenly devil, senior Zhu, let's not talk about this anymore. In terms of cultivation, I'm not in a hurry. It's better to empty my mind and rest in peace. We'll talk about it after a while. Xiaofan relaxed. In this way, Wu Li and the others no longer asked Xiaofan anything. However, they were all secretly clicking their tongues. Their hearts were in turmoil and it was difficult for them to calm down. Several hours later, the white cloud finally floated into the territory of the southern region's Fire Beacon Empire. The continuous mountain range appeared in Xiaohan's field of vision, causing Xiaofan to sweep away his fatigue and become extremely excited. The mountain range. Ancient vines accompanied old trees, small bridges and flowing water. The beautiful and winding mountain range meandered around like a sleeping dragon. The birds flew high, and the lonely cloud was idle. White clouds filled the air, and the clouds lingered. The mountain peaks poked out of the clouds like hibiscus emerging from the water. The ethereal white cloud lingered in the air above the mountain range. Xiaofan looked down at the mountain range and let out a breath of impure air. His heart immediately became peaceful and happy, without any worries. He quietly stood up. Many memory fragments came to him like a tide. This caused Xiaofan to remember everything that happened in the Pure Cloud sect. In the past, Xiaofan felt sorry for himself and felt indignant about his identity as a living target. But now, his cultivation had succeeded, and his mental state had improved. When he returned to the Pure Cloud sect, it felt like a lifetime had passed. Unexpectedly, he felt relieved about that experience. He treated it as the most precious memory in his life. Xiaofan breathed in the unique and familiar scent of the mountain range and heard the sound of the mountain spring. An indescribable feeling filled every cell in Xiaofan's body, causing Xiaofan to suddenly feel extremely moved. He felt a childish admiration for the mountain range. I was born and raised here in the lofty mountains. It is my hometown, my entire life. In my life, I will definitely protect it. At this time, Xiaofan finally understood. Why was Wu Yu's true qi realm so tyrannical? He was ranked high on the monster cultivator ranking, but he had always been guarding the mountain range. This was also Wu Yu's hometown. Ha ha ha, Xiaofan, quickly return to your mountain peak. Yan Shui and Shirong have been waiting for you bitterly. Wu Yu laughed. All right. Sect Master. Then this disciple will not stand on ceremony. While speaking, Xiaofan jumped in the air and directly jumped towards the mountain peak that belonged to him. Ha 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 ha, this kid, Dongfang Qin and Fang Ling both laughed out loud. You're really impatient. Xiao Mingchu also winked. Wu Yu, Heaven's Devil Old Man, and Big Fatty Zhu couldn't help but laugh. Suddenly, Heaven's Devil Old Man said with a smile that was not a smile. Brother Wu, this mountain range of yours really gathers the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. That's how it nurtures a genius like Xiaofan. Yes. This time, Qingtong has returned from the great wilderness. I asked her to come over and stay for a while. You don't have any objections, right? Oh. Wu Yu understood the meaning behind it. He also smiled and said with a deep meaning. This depends on whether Yan Shui and Shirong have any objections. Xiaohan's true inheritance mountain peak. After being separated for several months, Xiaofan was finally reunited with his two beautiful wives. The three of them cried tears of joy. They were so happy that they couldn't control themselves. Under the excitement, Xiaofan directly hugged the two gentle little wives and kissed them on the spot. His hands moved up and down, causing the two women to be flooded with spring tide. Night. The night was as cold as water. The moonlight was graceful. The night was so charming. The gem-like stars in the sky sparkled like mysterious eyes. They blinked and blinked like the gentle eyes of a lover. The crescent moon was like a small boat, freely rowing in the sky. The insects on the mountain were whispering like the most beautiful love song. In the wooden pavilion, something that violated the quiet atmosphere of the night was happening. The sound of men and women intertwining, soft moans, and panting constantly came from the wooden pavilion. It seemed that the entire wooden pavilion was shaking. Until late at night, all kinds of ambiguous sounds came to an abrupt stop. Inside the warm and fragrant bed, Jing Yanxue and Lan Shirong tightly wrapped around Xiaofan like an octopus. On their rosy red faces, there was an unconcealable tiredness and satisfaction after a storm. Their eyes were like water, like a dream. From the afternoon when Xiaofan returned, until late at night, Xiaofan had been continuously making love with his two lovely wives. Never stopping, extremely crazy. Xiaohan's physical body was tyrannical. Thus, even if he indulged himself for a while, it would not be a problem. As for the two women, they could not endure it for the first time. However, their love for Xiaofan was too deep, so they tried their best to please him and satisfy the only man in their lives. Uncle, you made me so painful. I can't even move. Jing Yanxue buried her head in Xiaohan's chest and said shyly. Lan Shirong opened her starry eyes and looked at Xiaofan tenderly. Uncle, how long are you going to stay today? Are you in a hurry to go train again? Yes. Xiaofan thought for a while and then patted his two lovely wives' snow-white buttocks, causing them to moan and pant. Xiaofan said with a smile. I will stay a little longer this time. That's right, Yanxue, Shirong, you are from the Valley of Medicine Masters and are good at refining pills, right? Yes, yes. The two women replied in unison. However, Lan Shirong's expression darkened. However, uncle, the pills we refine will no longer be of any help to your cultivation. Your cultivation is too strong, and your realm is too high. The ordinary pills we refine will not be of any use to you. That's right. An idea flashed in Xiaofan's mind. You have the foundation of refining pills, and you also have the talent and ability to refine pills. You just lack a decent teacher. Why don't I introduce you to a teacher? You can learn the art of refining pills from him. Teacher? The two women were taken aback. Uncle, the teacher you speak of, compared to our valley head of the Valley of Medicine Masters, who is better? Jing Yanxue asked weakly. Ha 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 ha, valley head of the Valley of Medicine Masters? He is trash. Xiaofan said proudly. Let me tell you, Hehe, the teacher I am going to introduce to you is the most outstanding alchemist in this realm. He is also the most talented alchemist in all the realms. His name is Yen Lang. Yeah. Yen, the two women had heard of the infamous name of the greatest traitor of the human race and immediately exclaimed in shock. Xiaofan, to be continued. You're tuning into the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.